and Healey. Ladies and gentlemen, your participants in the high jump for women, sponsored by Aon Hewitt. Best of luck, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, our track and field events are about to start. The track events will start with the interfirm relay for women. But first, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you all to stand and face our national flag? Finish the corner. Oran Lublin. Orders for the first event of the evening, the interfirm relay for women. I'm now going to hand you over to a race commentator for the evening, Mr. Phil Healy.
Thank you very much, John. So we're almost ready to go. Our first race of the day, our interfirm relay. And we're going to have to keep a close eye because there's a number of the teams wearing black vests, so you better be paying attention, and if you're not, we'll know. So in lane 1, though, wearing the colour blue is GE Healthcare. In lane 2 is PwC. In lane 3, the Evening Echo. John will be keeping an eagle eye on that. That's it, come on, get them into it, that's the stuff. In 4 is PepsiCo. In 5 is Cork County Council. And in 6 is Cove Ladies Football. So away we go. This is a 4x200 metre relay, and we're off to a crisp start. Hammer throwers now in the circle, the high jumpers now at the ready as well. So out on the outside, we've got a nice start for this 4x200 metre relay. They're staying in lanes for the minute, and then they're going to cut across. We're going to ensure crowd involvement now. So down the back straight, let's give them a cheer. They're going to try and stay in. On the outside, that's Cove Ladies Football. They've changed that football for a baton, and they're doing it pretty well so far. We can see in the blue are the handy one picking out GE Healthcare. And the pole vaulters are warming up there as well. So plenty of action here. They come around the bend into the straight. You can see those orange cones, and they're going to start cutting across into the inside. So there we go. Our interfirm relay, Cove Ladies Football. Maybe inspired by Sonia O'Sullivan and Sophie O'Sullivan. They're on the move. GE Healthcare are clear in second, and we can see some big turnarounds now as they're going to try and cut in and see what tactics they've done. As we said, Phil Healy is in there, cut into lane 1. Into lane 1 they go, and around the curve they go. Still a big lead for the Cove Ladies Football, followed by GE Healthcare. Cork County Council are on the move. Paxton, PepsiCo, Evening Echo and PwC. PwC are in the orange there, so they're looking to Make tracks there down the back straight. Cove ladies again, come around the curve and into the straight. Now shortly with 150 metres to go. As they keep cheering them on, no bother on them. Coming into the straight, it's Cove ladies. Doesn't look like anybody's going to come from the depths of hell. We're going to see Phil Healy there around the scene. With a big full of us and a round of applause. Wearing number 6, but they're going to be number 1 on the 67 Cork City Sports. Father Liam Kelleher is here. He must be their coaches. GE Healthcare are going to try and hang on for second. PwC are smiling and flying at the same time. And we'll keep bringing them home now. Cork County Council on the march. PepsiCo. And the evening echo, read all about it, and we are watching you, and you're going to fly into the finish line. So well done, evening echo. So that's a nice start. I mentioned one of the runners smiling there. The great Eliud Kipchoge, the best marathon runner of all time, says if you smile it improves your performance, and funnily enough there's studies out there that say it actually improves your running performance. So if you're out there running or doing your next park run, don't forget to smile.
Okay, that's good. So, actually that 155 now, so I'm happy with it.
So next up we have 2 races for the lads. In race 2, lane 1, we have Leisure World. Lane 3, we have GE Healthcare. They're under pressure now after we saw the ladies take the W there in the first race. Lane 4 is the Prison Service. Lane 5, Cork County Council. In 6 is Grove Carpentry, and in 7 is CIT. So no pressure there. Setting the tone here for the 67th International Cork City Sports. I can see our 3K runners. I think nimbly warming up there as well. That's going to be the open 3K. As we still see Ciara Kennelly. She was in the European Under-18 Championships. And she's jumping there. You can see her in her Killarney Valley vest in the green and purple there. Going to check some instructions with the coach and also keep an eye on that hammer.
If you've just joined us, please remember that the CIT has a no smoking policy. If you wish to do so, you can only do so in the designated areas. And can we ask you to remain off the track at all times and cooperate with our stewards so that everybody can have an enjoyable Cork City Sports. Can Nicola Conlan of the Evening Echo make her way to the presentation area?
So away we go. This is race 2 in our interfirm relay competitions. And we've seen some crisp start flying down around the first bend and into the back straight. Sponsored by KBC Bank. So we're banking on some top performance in this KBC Bank second interfirm relay competition. We have a clear leader on the outside. Looks like it'll be rolling out really at 6. We'll take a look at that man. So boy there, Live Athletics, let's keep cheering them on and see if we can inspire some new brilliant performances. Yeah, it is Grove Carpentry, and they are sharpening the axe at the minute. And he is boosting along 400 meter split of 45-46 seconds, so that's swift going for a relay. 200 meter splits of around 25 seconds now coming through. The rest are now leading the charge. Grove Carpentry well ahead. So we have a couple of ringers in this interfirm race 2 in the KBC back. They had a previous savings account, I think, so saying that extra bit of energy. So we're on the last changeover. Grove Carpentry. He can do it again, confident if he wants to have a look at the left shoulder, have a look at the right, and tell himself he has it. Just don't knock that back. He's an eye on the prize and the time. So the world record for the 800 metres is 140, just as a guide. Obviously, if they have a relay split, we're going to be well under that. So 133.13 for 800 metres. Not too bad. I think he just won it on the dip. So here we go, coming in into second place is GE Healthcare, first and second. By Pleasure World are on the move. The Prison Service, Cork County Council, and CIT on the march as well. Finish it out. Plenty of excitement so far. So the action is being live streamed on the internet as well, so if you're looking for good commentary, you can also put your earphones in and watch it on the live stream there in the Cork City Sports Race. And also TG4, Tashina Shug, Teledish, the Marine Pro, and this is Brian Murphy, multiple national champion. On the run down for race 3, got the Evening Echo, PwC, GE Healthcare, and Johnson Controls. And we also have a happy fast snapper here from Sportsfile and Brendan Lawrence. So we're covering all angles here. And don't forget to get involved on the Twitter machine as well, at Cork City Sports. Some of the star young athletes, Delan and Ed. She's going to be in the junior 1500 and then take over that Twitter. And Shario Donovan from Lila, he's on his way to a scholarship to Villanova. Also on that Twitter account, as that high jump is now up to 170. And for our throws aficionados, let's keep an eye on that hammer. Another great hammer competition. So away we go. This is race 2 of the men, potentially the race 2 of the men. Somebody's looking at me saying it's race 3, but it's race 2 of the men. There's method to my madness as they are moving down the back straight. So PwC, they should be there in the orange. You shouldn't be looking back at him, only 200 meters. He's already looking over his shoulder as they look at that first changeover. PwC, pink head in the orange. GE Healthcare, they're also in the blue. So here they come. They see the orange coat. Now can come across that angle as we get them through. It's going to be a tight one this time. They may not be as quick, but it's furious all the same. It's going to make for a better battle, and changeovers are going to be key. As long as they don't run on top of each other. Johnson controls are now currently holding down that third spot. So PwC in the lead, GE Healthcare in the blue are hunting them down. This could be the final race and the best race of this interfirm KBC relay. And it is all to play for. Our PwC leading them into a false insecurity. He's letting them catch them. GE Healthcare on the move as well. It's all going to be down to the change. And this is going to be our best race yet. GE Healthcare are on the charge, but he's going to have a 100 metres to go as he comes around the curve and into the straight here in the final. KBC in the front relay. He's going to win inside lane. Is he going to take the opening? PwC there, left or right? Is he going to... And they all follow that. Johnson controls it for a third. The left out that top three. I'd say not entertaining now this evening so far on the 67 Cork City Sports. There we are rounding out our... Well done, AIP. So again, line jump to the right, they're on 170 there. The hammer is also on gone. And then when you're looking for your next track race, the 3,000 metres is over at the pole-up area there. That's at 7.5 laps, so you're going to be looking over to the left for the next track race.
And Elaine Dargan, please make our way to the presentation area from the KBC Bank. Elaine Dargan, please make our way to the presentation area. Thank you.
So next up, we're going to go back to John McHale for the presentation here. I think he's going to introduce our poll. Also, we're waiting for Elaine Dargan from KBC to present the interfirm relay presentations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next
So, very good evening from the 2018 Cork City Sports. Hello from Will Downing, Jesse Barr and Brian Murphy. We're with you on the English language service tonight. In an hour's time, you can watch live on TG Carr as well. Sonia O'Sullivan and John Tracy, two Olympic silver medalists, 2000 and 1984. And the main action is about to begin here. We're seeing the introductions for the field events, but on the far side of the track, the first track action of the night about to get underway. And Rob Heffernan, our world champion from 2013 in the walk in the Luzhniki, where France won their big glory yesterday. So here's the lineup for the men's 3,000 metres and the open race. 25 in this. Some great club runners competing in this. Kevin Chesser from Ennis, we'll see Brother Rory a little bit later. Finlay Daly of Sligo AC also among the 25. Easy does it. So away we go then. This should take around 9 minutes. In this open men's 3,000 metres, we've got an international men's and women's 3,000 a little later on this evening. But it's Evan Byrne of Toker, Porrick Moore in Mullingar, Cormac Kelly St Albans, Niall Shannon of Von Brew, David Fox of Leavale, Kevin Chesser of Ennis Track, Dara Finn, Dublin City Harriers, Paul Maloney of Mallow, Sean McGrath of East Cork AC, Johnny Daly, who's unattached at the moment, Haywood Richardson of Leavale, Sean Doyle of Von Brew, Rory Casey of Toker, Jack Boylan of Dunleer, Rory O'Connor of North Cork, James Murray Good of Old Abbey, Conor Devan of Ennis Track, Michael Harrington of Durris, Kevin Coleman of Turners Crooks, Finlay Daly of Sligo AC, Damien Landers and Ben Deasy of Ennis Track, John White of Mullingar Harriers, Nate Haywood of Leavale AC, and Patrick Chesser, also of Ennis Track, very well attached with 5 athletes here this evening.
It's a very full field, Will, isn't it? There's a serious amount of competitors from the Cork area taking part. I'm particularly interested to see how all the Leavale guys are going to go, because this would be somewhat their home track. But you could see from the start that it was slightly cagey, so you can be sure that an awful lot of guys are targeting this as a win.
Well, in the past, they've sometimes had this race last after the international section, which is all well and good, but it's a long race, and a long race at the end of a long night they felt probably would be better here with the crowds building. And I'll tell you, the main stand is already very well populated here. It's a cagey start, you'd expect nothing less. Sean Doyle of Von Brew leading the way, Sean McGrath, East Cork AC, from 30 miles east of here, the familiar maroon singlet, take a good position in second place. Cormac Kelly of St Albans is in third, but still a long way, 6 laps to go in this.
Yeah, they really haven't picked up the pace yet, with 5 laps to go just as they passed there. 5 laps to go now here, and really taking their time. This is a very, very bunched. I would say the way it's going, they're probably looking at winding up in those last couple of laps. So it really, you know, based on PBs, it's a wide open race. It's really hard to call at the moment.
What I really like about this race is that it seems to be no pacemaking going on, and this is like a really competitive field. It's not very strung out yet, and like we're going to have fireworks at the end. We were just treated to the inter-firm relays as the warm-up event, and it provided a lot of thrills and spills, and this hopefully is going to be a cracking finish, because this is very cagey.
Yeah, and that's Sean Doyle of Von Brew AC who's leading it out. I don't know, is he an optimistic leader? He's starting to be caught up now. He's starting to get inside lane 2. I can't see who that is, but it's a really cagey pace. They really aren't putting the foot down at all, with just going on into 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Conor Devan of Ennis Track leading the way ahead of Sean McGrath of East Cork, Dara Finn of Dublin City Harriers, Cormac Kelly of St Albans AC. Now, Cormac Kelly is wearing 3, and in terms of this event, the faster PBs have been put with the lower numbers. So Evan Byrne of Toker AC, the fastest PB, 8:28. But Damien Landers, mind you, is an 8:23 man. He's obviously a late entry wearing 21 from Ennis Track. So we may well see a lot from him a little later on as the race wears on. They have 5 involved in this event, but still that usual pace to the front. Rory Casey. Conor Devan we saw a little bit of earlier on in the race, but he seems to have slipped back a little bit, and now they are beginning to stretch out in what is basically a club 3,000 metres.
I suppose 2 weeks ago to national championships, there'll be a lot of these guys trying to get a bit of a confidence boost, try and kind of put a marker down on the rest of the Irish lads ahead of another race at the end of the summer. But still, pace is still pretty pedestrian, I would say. I'm not a 3K expert, but really an easy race, so it's really going to be down to whoever has that real good sprint finish over the last lap or 2.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. Sean Doyle of Von Brew leading the way. Damien Landers of Ennis Track has indeed moved up into second place, and Cormac Kelly of St Albans beginning to come to the fore also.
Yeah, you could see the move up there. Just they're trying to put a bit of control in this race. That like it's, you know, you don't want it to leave it to be the last of the best kickers if you're the favourite. And so it's around about the time now that they've started to squeeze the paces, and you can see on the back straight it becomes more strung out.
You'd expect Damien Landers to put the foot down. He does have the fastest PB. Patrick Chesser of Ennis Track wearing 25, just going through mid-position in around 10th place. Nate Haywood of Leavale trying to make his way up as well. Obviously, being the host club, always very, very well represented here. Evan Byrne of Toker AC leading the way, hitting out the front. Pouring more into Mullingar Harriers behind. There'll be 3 laps to go. once they cross through. Damien Landers is in second place, but Evan Byrne of Toker, the orange singlet, has kicked with 3 laps remaining, and there's a bit of a move coming from Kevin Cheshire as well from Ennis Track in 4th position. Dara Finn of Dublin City Harriers ahead of him. The top 3 with a slight gap, and then in 5th place it's Paul Maloney of Mallow and David Fox of Leevale overtaking him on the outside.
Yeah, Evan Byrne, the token man, taking the lead. Like he made that move a lap to go, and he's showing his class. He's after opening up a nice little gap in the field. And as I said at the start, this is going to be a race that these guys really want to win. So the Toker athlete is as local as anyone here. I commented on the Leevale athletes, but Evan Byrne is probably the most local of all. So it's great to see him pulling away there with 150 meters to go left in this lap. When they get there, there'll only be 2 to go.
It's a very, very solid break by Damien Landers, but can he keep it up? Damien Landers wearing 21 in second position behind Evan Byrne of Toker AC, and a big gap between the top 2 and the rest now developing. Leevale Vest coming on the outside, but it's Byrne who's leading. Damien Landers in second place, and in third now will be Sean McGrath, East Cork, overtaking Dara Finn of Dublin City Harriers in 4th place. 5th is Niall Shanahan of On Brew. And in 6th, trying to overtake him, battling away with him. Wearing 4 is Niall Shannon of On Brew, but that gap looking very good. Has he made the break at the right time? It looks as if he has. That angle will foreshorten it. Evan Byrne of Toker leading the way. Damien Landers of Ennis Track behind him in second spot. And we've got 600 metres to go. Has he got this one right, Evan Almighty?
Landers is looking strong in second place. He's certainly looking relaxed, and you have to say credit to Evan Byrne for making the move so far out. He's really tried to make this an honest race now over the final mile of it. I would say Landers is looking ominous.
Well, he's looking fantastic at the moment. Hanging on his shoulder, Damien Landers. Evan Byrne is our leader. The bell is on the way. The gap is only about 5 metres. So can Evan Byrne hold off the challenge? That is definitely coming from Damien Landers in the final lap. In 3rd position now, it's Niall Shannon of On Brew. In 3rd place, 4th is Dara Finn of Dublin City Harriers. 5th is still Sean McGrath, East Cork AC. And in 6th is David Fox of Leevale. But what a battle is on the way from the top 2. Evan Byrne of Toker in the orange, and then in the red, Damien Landers of Ennis, who's looking to go on the outside and overtake.
We've got 250 meters to go. Landers was queuing it up for the last lap, and now he's right in the place where he wants to be, right on Byrne's shoulder, and it's really going to come down to who's got the best kick. How much does Evan Byrne have left after putting in that real big effort? And as we say that, Landers is now making a move.
He's gone for it. Damien Landers has gone for it. Heading into the final bend on the final straight. This is going to be a terrific win in this open men's 3,000 metres, and it's only with 150 metres to go that Damien Landers of Ennis Track hit the front. He's going to win. It'll be outside his lifetime best, but he wins 8:31.84, and gallant Evan Byrne of Toker in second place, and there's going to be a fall by Niall Shannon of On Brew. That's so unlucky, as he was coming through into 3rd position. Dara Finn of Dublin City Harriers takes that instead. So much being put in by these men in the 3,000 metres. They've looked to impress a huge crowd here, and what a victory in the end. Damien Landers taking it for Ennis Track ahead of Evan Byrne.
You can see just how much the athletes put into that race. It's it's carnage out there. People are barely making it over the finish line, but a brilliant race in the end by Damien Landers and Evan Byrne. But it was all about Dara Landers in that last 200 metres. He really ran a really clever race, let Evan Byrne do all the work, and he paid off with the win in the end. But you can see, if the camera pans down to him now, they're all lying on the track. It really took everything out of them tonight. It's a bit of a breezy track tonight. That back straight is going to have taken out of them. Every time they run it, they're running into a breeze. So fair play to these lads. It was a great way to open the event tonight.
Yeah, Damien Landers hitting the front just before the end, but he collapsed over the line. Evan Byrne did the same. Niall Shanahan did likewise with about 50 metres to go, but it was all eyes on Damien Landers by that stage.
Landers judged his effort to perfection, and in fairness to him, he really put in a great sprint, and those guys just laid it all out on the track this evening. But this is one of the biggest opportunities that they would have in the year to compete in front of a large crowd, and they really gave it their all.
Well done, Damien Landers, a cracking victory. And a cracking crowd already tonight.
Representing GE Healthcare, their BT.
Terrific crowd in tonight.
Third place, PWC.
As you'll see, the main stand here at the CIT Athletics track, and a nice evening. Not as balmy as it's been throughout most of the summer so far, but looking very, very good. So now, a very interesting name coming up in the junior women's 1500 metres, wearing number 1. It's the European Under-18 Championship silver medalist from last week from Ballymore Cove AC, Sophie O'Sullivan. It's a good lineup in this. Stephanie Cotter as well from West Muskerry, Lauren Nicholson also, 15 going to the line, continuing to Aoife Mahoney of Listowel. Eva Mahoney from Unrigged as well, brilliant club.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Sophie O'Sullivan can do in the back of that amazing silver medal at the European, very successful European Under-18 Championships for Ireland. Just travelling back, one of the few races she will have run in front of a big Irish crowd, so it'll be exciting to see what she can do in front of what is an adopted home crowd for her technically. But following that silver medal in the 800 metres, a step back up to the 1500 metres, and there'll be all eyes on her today with that surname.
All eyes on her as a result of that brilliant record, and mother watching on, as you saw. Sonia is in the crowd, as she was when Sophie won silver in Győr. So away we go then in this junior women's 1500 metres. Number 1 is the one to watch. She should come to the fore soon. She's right in the middle of the pack, as you'll see, but it's Aoife Mahoney of Listowel who's leading the way. On her shoulder, Stephanie Cotter of West Muskerry in second position. Slow start, but Sophie O'Sullivan 5th, then 4th, and in a few seconds probably will be in 3rd position. But how well she did in that Irish singlet just a week and a half ago.
And no easy task as well. I mean, there was a very high standard competition, and she raced like an absolute pro. The way she controlled the race and the way that she made her move and held on was absolutely superb. The video of her mother Sonia, the excitement was like one of the absolute golden moments of athletics in Ireland. It was absolutely fantastic to see.
Aoife Mahoney leading the way with 3 laps to go. Just behind her is Stephanie Cotter in second position, and Sophie O'Sullivan is in 3rd and looking quite good at the moment. Maeve O'Neill of Doherty is in 4th position, but Sophie O'Sullivan has them right where she wants them at the moment. Remember, she won the junior race over 800 metres last year at these Cork City Sports, but it's Aoife Mahoney leading the way at the moment in this Glenillan Farm junior women's 1500 metres. To be honest with you, it's the lady in 3rd that we're all looking at and wondering when she's going to pounce.
Yeah, and at the moment, Aoife Mahoney, she's leading them out. She's looking very comfortable in that leading position, but they are closing in on her. Sophie O'Sullivan has a very unusual running style. She kind of has a laboured run that you kind of forget how fast she's actually going, and she does have that nice kick at the end. And I know the other girls that have seen that race she ran in Győr, they know what she's capable of, they know she's fast, so they know they can't let her run this race the way she wants. And fair play to Aoife Mahoney, she really is keeping the pace and not letting anybody get ahead of her at the moment.
2 laps to go. Aoife Mahoney leads for Listowel. Stephanie Cotter of West Muskerry in 2nd place, and Sophie O'Sullivan of Ballymore Cove is leading right at the edge of that top 3. And O'Sullivan is going to move up from 3rd into 2nd place, and we've lost one of our top 3 there by the looks of it. I think it's Cotter who's pulled up, and suddenly O'Sullivan is in a 2nd position. Cotter is still there. It's Aoife Mahoney who's pulled up injured with around 800 metres to go. So it's between Stephanie Cotter now and Sophie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, it really is between the two girls. They've left the other girls with about 20 metres, 30 metres, 40 metres even to make up at this stage. So it really is going to be between these two girls. And Sophie O'Sullivan's going to have the support of this crowd behind her. She's Sonia O'Sullivan's daughter. All eyes are going to be on her. A lot of pressure on her as well to perform, but Stephanie Cotter is probably feeling her breathing down her neck at the moment as she just passes her out in that home straight.
So the two Cork girls in the lead, so they're going to get a great reception from this crowd. Stephanie Cotter made the right move, trying to take the sting out of the tail of Sophie O'Sullivan's kick. She's a fantastic 800-metre runner, as we know. So Stephanie Cotter had to take the pace on to give herself a chance, and she's tracking Sophie O'Sullivan as she makes her move now.
Absolutely brilliant move by Sophie O'Sullivan. Well weighted, well measured, as it was last year in the 800 metres of the Cork City Sports, and as it was when she won silver in those European under-18 championships in Győr in Hungary a week and a half ago. Sophie O'Sullivan leads the way, but what a fight back this is from Stephanie Cotter, looking for a major scalp here. This is one race that O'Sullivan won't want to finish second in. After finishing second for Ireland in that famous green singlet a week and a half ago, Sophie O'Sullivan hits the front again. Stephanie Cotter has put a great performance in here.
This race isn't over yet. They're going to lift the roof off this stadium in this last 100 metres.
It's O'Sullivan against Cotter. O'Sullivan on the inside, Cotter on the outside. This is a brilliant race. Has Cotter got it? O'Sullivan's moved up. O'Sullivan wins it. Sophie O'Sullivan, and that is a lifetime best by 5 seconds. 4:22.23. Mother would be proud. Stephanie Cotter's taken 9 seconds off her lifetime best. That was 4:31 for Cotter previously, both coming through in 4:22. 4:22.24. Sophie O'Sullivan gets a brilliant win. I'll tell you what, Sonia would have been 100% proud of that finish. What a race.
What a race from both girls. Absolutely cracking last 100 metres, and to knock off, like, what was it, 5 seconds and 9 seconds off their respective personal bests. That is unbelievable. If you ever wanted to see the advantage of a home crowd in action, that was the race.
Yeah, that was a brilliant race, and you know, have to give kudos to Stephanie Cotter. It was a big name to come up against. All eyes really were on Sophie O'Sullivan, and she didn't give it to her. She did not hand that win to her on a plate. She fought and came out with a 9-second PB for her efforts. So brilliant race from both girls.
You can just see that the last 100 metres again, it was absolutely neck and neck. And people have been talking about this like fantastic run of success over the last 2 weeks, and what does it mean? Well, it means that, like, for the people that have been successful, that's fantastic and it's a step. But for their other Irish athletes, they are not going to give it to them lightly. This raises the level for everyone else. This was an absolutely fantastic run by both athletes.
And that was the reaction from her mother in the stands. Our father as well, the coach, Nick Beddoe. Rob Heffernan and Marion, his wife, former international athlete and now international athletics coach, among the interested parties here, plus a few from the political scene.
Really is Cork athletics royalty in this shot here between Rob and Marion and Sonia, obviously.
And Jerry Buttimer on the right, who is a well-known politician in Cork circles now, but was a very well-known commentator for many years. Men's junior 1500 metres, just about to get underway. Michael Barr of West Waterford, Cian Kelly of St Albans, Conor Ryan of Templemore. Among the main field in this, there's 18 now in total, including Italy's Marco Taglienti. And we'll pick it up after 100 metres with the man from St Lawrence O'Toole, Niall Harvey, looking to come to the fore. And Simon Upton from Youghal AC as well. Frank O'Brien from Middleton moving up and leading the way. Liam Hennessy from Toker with Power in second place from West Waterford AC, but that's definitely not a West Waterford singlet. And the Italian now lying in fifth position and looking quite decent with David McGlynn of Waterford AC and Waterford Blue tucked in on the inside. First lap done and dusted, and still looking very, very solid. The man from Middleton right up at the front, Simon Upton, well perched as well from Youghal, David McGlynn from Waterford. and Micheál Power from West Waterford AC. Junior men's 1500 metres, and obviously Ireland doing so well at the World Under-20s and the European Under-18s and all those medals that have been gained over the past few weeks, and a bit of a gap developing in the front here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see does this race play out like it did in the women's race, with just kind of two main protagonists for that first position. At the moment, they really have put the boot down, and they've forged a really good gap. And we've lost someone. We have lost.
Pace duties.
Who have we lost?
He's gone
Frank
out.
O'Brien from Middleton AC, I believe.
Well, look at this. Micheál Power of West Waterford AC with 2 laps to go. Way out in front. Little bit of a pull-up has given him that gap. Cian Kelly of St Albans in second place. Now in third, David McGlynn of Waterford AC. Frank O'Brien of Middleton AC is in fourth. And Conor Ryan of Templemore AC behind them, currently lying in fifth position. And that is a gigantic lead for Micheál Power of West Waterford AC. He's a 4:01 runner over 1,500 metres. And remember, they're wearing the numbers in terms of how fast they are, lifetime best. Power wearing 1, he's got the fastest lifetime best, and Kelly wearing 2 is at the moment around, 30 metres behind him, and moving up David McGlynn of Waterford AC alongside him in third.
Yeah, I don't know, did Micheál Power approach this race knowing he was going to have this much of a gap this early on? I think I saw a hint of a smile there as he came around that bend. It really is going to take a big disaster on his part to lose this lead that he's after gaining.
He's really taking the race by the scruff of the neck, and as he goes in front of us, he is absolutely bouncing down that track. He goes through the bell at 2:50. I mean, he is really on for a super personal best if he can keep this pace up.
And coming through in the number 2 vest is Cian Kelly of St Albans. He's starting to put the foot down there ahead of David McGlynn from Waterford AC. So they'll be our top 3, but by far and away, it's going to be Micheál Power's race. It's going to be all his own.
Well, no doubt they will be. That is a massive lead for Micheál Power of West Waterford AC. 4:01 his lifetime best. He's going to be very close to it. Big gap back to Cian Kelly of St Albans in second position. David McGlynn of Waterford AC lying in third. And the gaps are gigantic between first to second, second to third, third for fourth. The rest are absolutely nowhere outside of the top 3.
Keep an eye on Cian Kelly in second place. He is pouring it on with 1:50 to go. He is looking like he is flying down this home straight as Micheál Power is starting to get a little bit more fatigued, and the crowd are absolutely roaring on for another close finish.
It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
I don't think
it's Cian Kelly of St Albans who overtakes Micheál Power with 20 to go to win. And Cian Kelly 3:55.53 is a lifetime best by 7 seconds. Micheál Power breaks his lifetime best by 5 seconds in second place for West Waterford AC. David McGlynn of Waterford third. In fourth position, Frank O'Brien of Middleton AC. What a finish, what a win in the end by Cian Kelly. Unexpected 3:55.53, lifetime best for the top 2 at least, by a long way. What a win, what a smile.
Well, you know what, I was eating my words. At 300 metres to go, I said that Micheál Power had that race all his own way, but he obviously just went too fast those first couple of laps. He just didn't have the legs that last 200.
Burned up, didn't he? Burned up in the last lap, and look at the encouragement being given to our eventual winner.
But one thing you have to say is they both walk away with massive personal bests. You really do have to respect Micheál Power for taking that race on and making sure that it was a true run race. He was committed to getting a personal best today. And we've once again, speaking about the under-18s and the juniors, the success was all on the women's side, and there's a real kind of backlash needed from the men to keep up with the fantastic performances of the women, and it's absolutely cracking to see Micheál Power and Cian Kelly just really go for it and destroy their personal bests.
What a magnificent finish and a win for Cian Kelly to match. Power thought he'd done enough, but then Kelly had him in his sights and Power just didn't have enough. Cian Kelly takes it, Micheál Power in second place. That was a race and a half.
Representing West Muskerry, Stephanie Hoffer.
So the crowd's really starting to build here in Cork. Nice evening, not too hot, not too cold. Quite still, actually. No, it doesn't feel as breezy now. We are quite sheltered where we are. Probably breezier on the track, but really pleasant evening. Lots of people out watching, picnics and all sorts. And up next we have the 800 T54 wheelchair men's race.
And made up of British and Irish athletes. Ben Rowlings, Isaac Towers, we've seen World and European Para Championships. Jack Agnew is beginning to knock on the door as well. Carl Brotherton of Scotland, Patrick Monaghan and Killian Dunn, both of Ireland, making up the field in this. And it's T54, so it is the fastest athletes.
So there'll be a few names to watch in this. Only two from an Irish interest. Patrick Monaghan, who's better known as a marathon athlete, but he's dropping down to the 800, which he does sometimes compete in. And Killian Dunn, who was a recent national 100 and 200 metre champion and was just pipped by Pat Monaghan in the 400 metres for that gold medal. So there'll be a bit of a national battle going on, but watch out for Ben Rowlings of GB, wearing the number 1, I believe he is. No, Ben Rowlings will be in number 5. He is a Paralympian and a European medalist from the 1, 4 and 800 metres, so a lot of speed. That's Ben there in the blue. So there's a really strong team. There's 4 Paralympians in this race, and Killian Dunn in the green of Ireland, who's trying to break into that level, take a big step up this year, winning those 2 gold medals at the Nationals. So it'll be very much a domestic battle between Ireland and the UK.
Well, the ones to watch in this are in the middle lanes, Ben Rowlings and Isaac Towers. Rowlings, who broke into the British team in Grosseto. If I recall, he'd actually been left out of the British team for the 2015 World Para Championships in Doha. They felt he probably wasn't going to be a medal prospect, but he came very good with some impressive finishes in the Europeans in 2016.
Isaac Towers in lane 5 was a European champion over this distance back in 2016. So he'll definitely be one to watch as well. So expect some fast times here, much faster than any world record that David Rudisha has ever run to be winning this race today.
Yes, it's going to be a fascinating battle here because there's going to be so much coming down on the break of this as well.
So the 800 metres men's T54. So Kyle Brotherton in 2, Jack Agnew in 3, Ben Rowlings in 4, Isaac Towers in 5, Patrick Monaghan in 6 and Killian Dunn in 7. And the 50s are the wheelchair racers, and the higher the last digit, then the stronger the athlete is. There's 51, 52, 53 and 54. There are other numbers, but they're for throwing events. And they get a really good speed up in this. And sometimes you get some very tactical races, particularly in the longer disciplines. But this really is a fantastic, fascinating event. Rowlings and Towers will definitely be the two who will be looking to boss it over the rest. And their lifetime best, really, for the rest, that will be...
That's Patrick Monaghan from Ireland is actually leading out after me saying it was to watch out for the GB, and he's really put it to those GB athletes who are coming over here with much faster PBs. So it's Pat Monaghan who leads at the bell. We've Ben Rowlings in 2nd and Isaac Towers in 3rd, and then a battle between Killian Dunn and Kyle Brotherton in the 5th and 6th positions, 4th and 5th positions, I should say.
So it's Monaghan leading them out. Agnew not too far behind. Rowlings and Towers are marking him very well, but this is a solid performance from Patrick Monaghan so far. 1:45 is his lifetime best, and now the movement's coming on the outside has been superb for 650 metres, Patrick Monaghan, but Rowlings and Towers are looking to make the big move now for Britain. They have the quality. It's wearing 5, Ben Rowlings in the middle. On the outside is Isaac Towers. On the inside, Patrick Monaghan. It's going to be a good race towards the finish, and it is just taken in the end by Ben Rowlings, ahead of Isaac Towers in 2nd place. Patrick Monaghan in 3rd, 1:48.89, the winning time in what was an exceptional race in this Leisure World men's T54 800 metres. And in the end, well, it came down to the British pair of Rowlings and Towers. Monaghan did all he could in order to get the win, but just missed out.
Yeah, Monaghan took the race on. I mean, once again, it's great to see the Irish athletes taking on the race and setting giving himself every chance he could for the win. This isn't his preferred distance, as we had said, and his personal best was far outside the British pair, but he really gave himself every opportunity. He grabbed that inside line and hugged onto it, and he gave it everything at the end, but I suppose the specialists just got past him just towards the end.
Yeah, I suppose you can see the difference between Pat. I'm sure Pat could go again and again and again in that same time for the 800, being a marathon specialist, but the two British athletes didn't have it on their own way, and they were 10 seconds outside their respective personal best. So it wasn't a brilliant performance for them. It was very much a tactical race. With wheelchair, it is very tactical. It's all about what position you can get into early, and then if you can stick in behind that first athlete who takes all that breeze and breaks that wind for you. And that's exactly what they did, and they let Pat Monaghan really do all that hard work. So they were able to slip past him in the end. But it was a great race from the two Irish athletes, Pat Monaghan and Cillian Dunn. So to mix it in with these guys.
They are the strongest wheelchair racers. It's the discipline of Hoog and McFadden, and it is always worth a great watch. And maybe one day we'll have some para-athletics Grand Prix in this country, because they have a number of them across Europe. They have a big one in Dubai every spring, which is tied up with the Powerlifting Grand Prix. They have a big festival of sport there. The races go on. It's the women's 100 metres. Now, this is the B race. 3 in this for Ireland: Kate Doherty, Sarah Murray, Niamh Whelan. There's Ruth Asher of the United States, Baptiste of Britain, Harrison of Canada, and Toe Whistle of Papua New Guinea.
Kimberly Baptiste was the B winner last year at Cork City Sports. She's come back again. She obviously likes the track. She's come across from the UK. And there's a bit of an international battle here between Sarah Murray and Niamh Whelan, two of the main people on the women's 4x1 senior relay team. So it'll be a bit of a domestic battle between those two. And Kate Doherty of DSD, who was our national under-23 champion only a couple of months ago. That's Niamh Whelan there. Yeah,
Niamh is actually one of my favourite athletes to watch, because you never know what sort of performance you'll get from Niamh. She really can raise her game to super high levels. She's a really, really competitive athlete, and I love the fact that she really does get up for those big occasions.
Yeah, we've quite a few Canadian-based athletes who are competing here tonight. China Harrison, you have seen, with the maple leaf and a singlet. Pan Am bronze in the 4x100 metres with Canada in 2015.
We have Toya Whistle in this race, if I see. No, she's pulled out. She is, excuse me, I'm reading the wrong one. She's in lane 6, was the flag bearer back in 2012 at the Olympics for Papua New Guinea. So she's in this race, come a long way for this.
And not only that, but Toya Whistle has won 11 gold medals at Pacific Games, 12 at the Oceania Championships, and she's also twice been the Australian 100 metres champion, 2013 and 2017. It's a good field that Kate Doherty of DSD, Sarah Murray of Fingalians DCU, and Niamh Whelan of Ferrybank AC find themselves in tonight. And this is the Canadian, China Harrison, that Pan Am relay bronze, and the North American, Caribbean and Central American silver and bronze medalist in 2014 in the relay and also the 100 flat. 4th in the Canadian Championships last week she was. Lifetime best from 3 years ago, but couldn't quite make it into the A-list tonight. Phil Healy is the only Irish athlete who's got into the 100 metres A final, about half an hour's time.
Really excited to see what these sprint times are going to be tonight. We have a really, really strong, probably the strongest fields across the 1 and 2 men's and women's this evening. Probably because there's no global championships. Obviously, we had Commonwealth Games already, so there's a lot of the Commonwealth Games athletes. We have a lot of Australians, a lot of Canadians have turned up here today, just coming around Europe to make a bit of money, I suppose. But it's bringing the standard up through the roof. I mean, the fact that we only have 3 Irish athletes in these events kind of speaks to the standard that we have here tonight.
And I'm sure our foreign guests are here because they now know that Ireland's the home of sprinting. So
obviously, the word's obviously gotten out pretty quickly. But I'm really excited to see what kind of times these women in the 100 and 200 can do, because if you look through their personal best times, a lot of them are well within our own national records. So it'd be great if we could see these girls dragging our own Irish girls to new PBs and maybe even new national records in the form of Phil Healy.
talk to me about the last 2 weeks that we've seen. 3 gold, 1 silver in the European under-18s in Győr in Hungary, and then 2 silvers, doubling Ireland's all-time haul in the World Under-20s. Used to be the World Juniors, Summer Leckie, and obviously the relay as well.
Yeah, we're shaking our heads here because it's just been unbelievable. It's been an absolutely golden weekend in Irish athletics. That stat, doubling our World Junior tally over a weekend, is just unbelievable. And for me, what I'm most excited by is the diversity of the events that we've won medals in. We've won medals in the 800, the 1500. We won medals in the sprint relays, the high jump.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not like we've concentrated on one thing. There seems to be potential coming through from every part of the field. As I said earlier, it's been all on the women's side, but
I'm delighted about that.
But we're sure that the guys will respond.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some of the young guys to step up with it. But competitiveness in the country is a fantastic thing, and hope. It gives hope to athletes that I train on the same track. I can also run quick. There's nothing about any magic training center that you have to go to in America. You can get your results in Ireland.
That's it. And I think for a lot of the senior athletes, they should be really not feeling safe in their positions and as being the top dog in the country, because it's the junior athletes are really where the talent is coming from and really where the performance is coming from. Our senior team really needs to kind of pick up the pace at the moment, because it's all about the juniors, and I think national seniors is going to be really interesting championships, because I think we're going to have a lot of very young medalists this year.
Yeah, there seems to be a delay, by the way, you'll see down in the track in this women's 100 metres B race. Doesn't look likely that we're going to see any action from them in the next couple of minutes. Not quite sure what the delay is, but they're sitting and they're waiting, and so are we.
This is always squeaky bum time when it comes to your especially first race of the day, the first 100 metres of the day. Not that I have much experience, but it is always a tough place to be, waiting for that start. You feel like you're ready, you know what time you're running, and then suddenly there's a delay and you don't really know why. This is always, I'm sure it's happened to you, Brian, as well. It's kind of a tough thing to get ready for.
So we're going to go to the shots and give you quite a bit of field while we're waiting for the track action to get back underway. And this is a man who we're expected to see quite a little bit of, Patrick Crony of the Netherlands. We've got the Canadian champion, the new Canadian champion from last week, Tim Nedau, 2094 thrower, Chuck Ekenekwe of the United States, likewise.
Yeah, this is one of the highest standard field events we've seen in Ireland in a long time. We have 2 throwers over 20 metres, which is the barrier of world class in shot put. Tim Nedau he's thrown 21.33 as his lifetime best. And now we're just going to go and watch as Zatan Youssef of Great Britain is going to up.
He's an 18:21 man. We'll bring you up to date with all the latest scores in this as that goes out towards 20 metres from Youssef Zatan. He's a 24-year-old.
Shot put is one event, especially with the men, we don't have a huge diversity across. Unfortunately, it's Sean Brannock has probably been the most capped Irish athlete at European Team Championships, representing us every single year in the shot put. So it just shows the kind of, just a shame that we don't have as deep a field in that discipline, and we have no Irish athletes representing this shot put this evening because of it. It's
certainly one of the hardest events to generate talent in, because purely the investment of time is so long before there's a payoff. I mean, these guys are absolutely massive, and to get that strong and that agile and that quick across the circle.
Speaking of quick, we just saw Gother Remco of the Netherlands. It was a 17-metre personal best, probably in and around that there. Quite a flat throw, I think. He's shaking his head, he's not happy, he knows it wasn't his best. But yeah, you can see even for these big, strong guys, they do generate an awful lot of speed across the circle, don't they?
Oh, they're pure fast twitch athletes. I mean, like, they're the most fast twitch of any athletes on the track. If you ever have done any athletic testing, you'll know that a standing long jump would be like one measure of power, and you'd be surprised that it's actually the shot putters tend to record the highest power outputs, well, the highest like jumps, like they would presumably get the highest power outputs, but they can actually jump the furthest. And these are big guys, like very common to see guys over 20 stones in weight.
the CEO of Athletics Arena, Mr. Hamish Adams, and the familiar visitor, Mr. John Tracy.
Yeah, Chuck Enakwechi of the United States, 21-14 thrower. Very, very solid thrower as well.
Fantastic name for a shot putter. Chuck Enakwechi, brilliant name.
Inaccurate.
Yeah, fantastic.
Just waiting to see what he threw there. I don't know, was he complaining about something? There's a bit of back and forth between him and the officials. He doesn't look happy.
No. This is
I wouldn't want to take him on.
Behind him is Tim Nido, who's he's got the personal best of 21:33. I actually met him in the early days of his travels as a professional athlete, and I was quizzing him about shot put training technique and you know, what's involved and what weights would you lift, and I asked him what would he bench press, and he said, I'd be pretty weak, I can only do 200.
Is that all?
Yeah, so to this day I call him Weak Tim from a safe distance.
Tim is not on the camera at the moment, but Tim must be what, 6'5"?
I think closer to 6'8".
And he's definitely not, he's not a thin man, so I wouldn't want to take him on. That's him there.
Yeah, there he is in the green singlet as
and
well,
that was
Tim Nido.
Of Mr. Chuck of the United States, was just registered 20.5 throw. So whatever the back and forth is going on, he's been given that throw and just outside his personal best by about 60 centimetres.
I'm pretty sure he thought it was a little bit further. Well, let's see what the Canadian champion can produce with this one. It looks
weak.
He looks very happy with that.
So his personal best is 20.94. Be great to see him go over 21 metres here at our track.
Yeah, he's thrown 21.33 indoors, but only 20.94 outdoors. Shot put is one of those events where people can often have a better PB indoors just purely because of the time of the year.
Yeah, just to update you on this, we are in the second round of the competition, and is currently being led by that throw we saw a few moments ago by Chuck Enakwechi of the United States, 20 metres 50. Tim Nido threw 2018 in round one. That was a 2023. That keeps him in second position. And third for the Netherlands, we saw his throw as well, Patrick Crony. That was 18.54. So next to throw, this is Scott Lincoln of Great Britain. He's a 19-metre man. Can he get that out? Get a lifetime best. He got things wrong in the opening round, a no throw. So this in round two, trying to get himself on the board and on the podium. There's still no action on the track, by the way, so we'll happily stay with the shot for the time being. Patrick Crony of the Netherlands, 19.51 his lifetime best, 18.54 in the opening round to put him into third position. And that looks shy of 20 once more.
Well, he's not happy with that. He just stepped out into the circle, so he, for whatever reason, he doesn't want that measured, so they're not going to go ahead and measure. He'll have no mark for that for this round of throws.
Yeah, it's pretty common for shot putters that, like, rather than mark a distance that you wouldn't be proud of or you don't feel reflects your abilities, foul it out, scratch it from the record.
In the background, you can hear the long jumpers just being introduced to the crowd as Yousef Zahat of Great Britain is just about to take his third throw.
He's an 18.21 thrower. Now, apparently only 4 started the women's hammer, and 2 of the favourites did not. Ida Storm took it, retained a title from Sweden, meeting record, 71.19. Jenny Dahlgren has not shown up in the results, but I could have sworn I saw her earlier this evening. I can't quite be certain what has gone awry, but we will investigate for you. But that's the results as we have it.
And we're back to the women's 100 metres. I'm sure there's going to be a few stiff bodies who've been sitting on the track all this time. And in shot there's Kate Doherty of DSD, national under-23 champion just only a couple of weeks ago. And that's Towie Wiesel of Papua New Guinea, who I mentioned previously, who has all those national records to her name, or national championships to her name. Asha Ruth of the US, who was part of the American record-breaking 4x200 meter relay team, who broke that at the Armory last year in February. And then of our domestic athletes, as well as Kate Doherty, we have Sarah Murray there and Niamh Whelan, and we have Shayna Harrison of Canada with an 11:32 PB. Kimberly Baptiste, who I said won this women's 100 metres B race last year, so she obviously liked the track. She's back again, has an 11:50 PB, was a 200 metre finalist at the British Championships only a couple of weeks ago, so strong field for these Irish girls to be in among.
So it's Kate Doherty of Ireland and DNC in lane 1, Sarah Murray of Ireland and Fingolians DCU in 2, Asha Ruth of the United States in 3, Kimberly Baptiste of Britain in 4, Shayna Harrison of Canada in 5, Towie Wiesel of Papua New Guinea in 6, and Niamh Whelan, there she is, of Ferrybank AC, Waterford and Ireland in lane 7 in this women's B race. They've been out on track a long time. Let's see if it's worth waiting for. They do have a 200 metres as well. Quite a lot of them will be competing in also. Harrison in 5, the Pan Am bronze in Toronto in 2015 in the 4x100 relay. North American, Caribbean, Central American, silver in the 4x1, bronze in the 100. She's in 5, Kimberly Baptiste in 4 for Great Britain. 28 major championship medals for Towie Wiesel in lane 6. So away we go in the first sprint of the night. Wiesel looking very good in 6. Harrison in 5 as well. Sarah Murray's going brilliantly here. Can Murray pull it out of the bag? She's just been beaten in the end by Shayna Harrison, 11:69, as Harrison takes it, and the quality and class came to the fore in the end. The fourth placer in last week's Canadian Championships wins the B race at 11:69, unofficial time.
Yeah, probably not the fastest time we're going to see this evening, the women's A race. But Sarah Murray in lane 2 of Ireland got an absolute flyer of a start. She's a very good 60-metre runner, but Shayna Harrison really had the strength in that the back end of the race. But Sarah Murray, those first 60 metres really flowed. But Niamh Whelan came through strong, I think.
So well towards the end.
Second, would you give her second? Tough to tell.
Yeah, too close to call.
Yeah.
The wind gauge was showing a perfect 2 metre a second wind, so if we could keep that for the rest of the night, I think we'll be in for some super times.
Yeah, then front on, it's very hard. A bit of a blanket finish at what it looks like from here, but yeah, Shayna Harrison really did just pull away at the end. Just outside her season's best of 11:62 that she ran at those Canadian Championships. 11:69, a little bit slower, and we're with her now.
Yes, and Asha Ruth of the United States was second, 11:78. Niamh Whelan third, 11:79. Close to her season's best. That was a terrific contest. But Niamh Whelan so unlucky. Sarah Murray was fifth in the end, 11.85, with Kimberly Baptiste ahead of her in fourth.
With that long delay on the track, they were sitting out for an awfully long time. I wonder would they have had a little bit of a faster time to their name there today had they not been sitting out in the cold. It's not as warm as it was when we first got here. The clouds are starting to come over. It's looking a bit grey. Hopefully the rain holds off, but those times probably aren't as fast as they could have been given the circumstances.
Yeah, it's not ideal to sit on a track for any length of time, ideally, and you want to be kind of keeping warm for as long as possible, staying in the call room, doing your warm-ups in the warm-up area, or keeping those leggings on. But they did have to wait quite a bit of time sitting down on the track, but they still pulled out a good performance.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see now the time difference in between now and the women's 100-metre A race, which is coming up now in a minute. But first, we are having the high jump presentation.
Yeah, we've got the men's 100 metres B race as well before the main international programme kicks off at 7:20. It's a nice evening. It hasn't been as roasting as it has been the past few weeks. The men's long jump is now also getting underway.
See in the background Adam McMullen, our national champion from indoors and outdoors, waiting for a measurement on his jump there.
Now 7 metres 21 in the opening round for Ezekiel Owolo of Nigeria. Ronald Hertog in the Netherlands is next to go, who regularly finds himself in the silver medal position behind Marcus Rame. in the para-athletics long jumps. There has been a good sprinter, was a javelin thrower early on in his career. McMullen's distance still being measured, 7.85. He's cleared in season's best. Hertog waiting to go, waiting for McMullen's measurement to arrive.
7.99 Adams' personal best from the indoor championship, this national indoors this year. So just touching on the 8 meters, that big 8 meter barrier, but it's Paralympian Hertog who's having to wait while they measure Adams' jump, still waiting for that measurement, and this is kind of taking an awful long time. You can see Adam in the background there, just walking up and down nervously. Bit of a delay again.
So the men's B race, 100 metres. Trevan Morrison of Jamaica, Ipel Takeda of Japan, Jeremy Dodson Samoa, Rashid Dwar of Jamaica, and Edmund Mining of Great Britain are the 5 in this. David Lima of Portugal does not now start. Dodson of Samoa, 10.21 lifetime best. He's run 10.25 this season.
With Rashid Dwyer, like with the personal best of 10.10, but Rashid Dwyer, better known as a 200-meter runner. This is an absolutely cracking field for a 100-meter B race.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Rashid Dwyer's 200-meter time of 1980, I mean, it just shows the standard that the A race is with these guys who are all running 10.2s, 10.3s to be pushed down into that B race. Really, it shows the standard sprinters have turned up to Cork here this evening.
Now, the organisers have done an unbelievable job of assembling such a high-quality field.
Yeah, Morrison in 2, Takeda in 3, Dodson 4, Dwar 5, and remaining in lane 6. David Lima of Portugal does not start. It's the B race of the men's 100 metres. So away they go, first time. Morrison struggling to a solid start. Dwar is moving up well. Rashid Dwar of Jamaica, he's gonna take it. Dwar wins it. Morrison in second place. May well have been Dodson third. 10.25. That's not bad for a B race in Ireland, is it?
If that's the B race, what's the A race going to be won in?
I think we're in for a very special evening of sprinting tonight. The wind gauge is saying 1.8 as well for it, so a legal season's best for Rashid Dwyer. So the conditions may not be the warmest, but they're certainly quick.
Rashid Dwyer, member of the 4x100 meter gold medal winning relay team at those World Championships in Beijing. So, you know, he's a huge, the pedigree of him to be in the B race today. And to run a 10.25 season's best, a bit outside his personal best of 10.10, but to be running that on a fairly, mild evening in Ireland, on not known to be the most lightning quick of track, he's obviously in good shape.
That's a season's best as well for him, by the way, 10.25. Very, very impressive. 7:10 then, the next action on the track is around 15 minutes away. It's the A finals for the 100 metres. The live show on TG Car is coming on in 5 minutes' time. That will be Australia in its entirety, apart from a couple of words here and there from our colleague Brian Murphy, who's going to move across the divide very, very soon.
Bye, Brian. We'll miss you over here.
I'm sure you won't.
Well, the Irish all-comers record, the fastest time we've ever had here in Ireland, is 10.17 at the Mary Peters track in '88. And I remember there was a lot of speculation, some great Dungarvan men here I see, but there was great speculation coming into the European Team Championships when we staged it in 2013 that the record would be broken there. And it was a very wet day. Tranny Martino won it before he became the European double champion, 100 and 200, if John Martin comes through here for Scotland in the long jump, which we're going to watch for the next 10 minutes or so, but it was so wet he ended up running 10.20. Maybe, just maybe with that, we might end up seeing Jesse something really fast in the A final in around 15 minutes.
You know what, I don't even know if the crowd here realise the standard of sprinters we have. And I said it about the women's. I was watching that women's 200 metres when I was doing my research, and I felt that was the all-comers record that might be knocked today. It's held by Kathy Freeman from all the way back in the 90s, in the Mardyke actually. hadn't even really considered the men's events. I didn't think that a time like that was going to be pulled out, and if that was the B race, we could be on for a new all-comers record and a really lightning quick time. Hopefully those wind readings stay favourable for the athletes over the next 10 minutes while they set up. And that was a 6:69 jump for John of Scotland.
Shayna Harrison of Canada wins the women's B race, 11.67 seconds ahead of Asha Ruth of the United States, 11.78, and so unlucky. Came well right at the end, Niamh Whelan for Ireland. The Waterfordian in third, 11.79. Crowd building here at CIT. Latest situation in the men's long jump.
We just saw Sam Healey of Ireland, well, Viva, local man, jump, and he got a red flag, so lots of groans from the crowd, but he still has at least two, hopefully more than that, jumps to come. Yeah, not a seat to be had in the stadium.
Liam Hennessy, former president of Athletics Ireland.
John Tracy there beside him. So all the big wigs of athletics are here tonight. So you know it's a big event when those guys turn up.
Our big question for you is your brother Thomas Barr is in the 200 flat tonight. What's this story?
He is indeed. I suppose I only chatted to him briefly, but he's just looking to do a bit of speed work, change it up, maybe shock a few people.
Absolutely welcome. Well, the very, very best of luck to him tonight. So we're going live with the TG Carrot programme in the next few minutes, and we shall return very, very shortly with action from the 2018 Cork City Sports.
Agus fáilte go Corcaig, héis cookies úntaach de cuasaí acliachta, is cinnte go leannig sé sin ar aig an nocht. Tá Brian Murphy im chante, Brian cadítá ná nún an nocht an seo.
Tá ihe úntaach luúflaíochta in ann de nocht, le cuid in na homóirí is fear de bhachtas riamh in airna ghlachapáirte.
Agus cad é ná Rossi mór an nocht.
Is iad na Rossi rábála is mó a beg mise agsúla. So Ross 200 méadar, beg Thomas Barr agus Marcus Lawler, ag dul in na míocht le Cameron Burrell, champion Coláiste America, so 100 méadar, agus Rashid Dwyer, fear bhfuil sáiríocht pásanta 98 second ice. Rossi na man, beg mé agsúil go mór le Phil Healy eáil, beg Phil again of Gárás an nocht. Taréis an curríocht 100 méadar a brise níos lua an séasúr seo. Ceapan go seans maithe an curríocht 200 méadar a brise an nocht. Agus cinnte ag deire an chlár tá an Ross mílan na fearr agus ar nóig bemid ag tnú le críoch faoi ceann nóméid tá mise ag súil go mór leis.
Gurb maithagad agus anis na Rossi, Micheál ó Drisláin.
So now the closing stages then of the women's junior 1500 metres, and what a battle this looks like being, because we've got Sophie O'Sullivan in this, and Sophie, well, what a time she's had in the European Under-18 Championships in Győr in Hungary. That magnificent silver medal for Sophie. She's up against Stephanie Cotter here of West Muskerry. They're at the bell, and Jessie Barrett's really looking good for Sophie O'Sullivan here.
Yeah, Sophie O'Sullivan's leading the way here. She's fresh off that 800 metre silver medal in Győr, so she'd be full of confidence. But Stephanie Cotter is not handing it to Sophie easily. She's really, you know, tailing her every move, step for step. So it's going to be a really interesting last 300 metres.
So it's Sophie O'Sullivan, who won in the 800 metres junior race last year at the Cork City Sports. That fabulous silver medal in Győr, but now Stephanie Cotter is beginning to make a big fight back here for West Muskerry, and she's in the lead. Sophie O'Sullivan going on the outside of Ballymore Cove AC. Her mother watching in the stands here at CIT, just as she was in Hungary famously last week. It's Sophie O'Sullivan leading the way. Stephanie Cotter in second position. O'Sullivan in the closing straight, and Cotter hasn't given up. Cotter going on the outside. Stephanie Cotter trying to relegate Sophie O'Sullivan to another second place. It was a European silver last time. It will be another Cork City Sports victory for Sophie O'Sullivan here. That is a great win for the Ballymore Cove athlete. Absolutely fantastic. And her mother and father would be absolutely proud. Sonia O'Sullivan, Nick Badeau watching up in the stands, and Sophie O'Sullivan being absolutely celebrated by a big Leaside crowd here. That was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant race, not only by Sophie O'Sullivan, who had every eye in the stadium here on her, but Stephanie Cotter really put it to her that whole way. That was an exciting last 100 metres, and I really couldn't call it. Sophie O'Sullivan really had to work hard, and it paid off. She came away with a 5-second PB, Stephanie Cotter with a 9-second PB, so in a brilliant race by both girls. All the hard work they put in those first 3 laps really, really paid off.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that was just a magnificent finish in the end, with Cotter almost taking it out and looking for a massive scalp here. Just on the turn of the final bend, she saw her opportunity. The 19-year-old from West Muskerry, she's 2 years older than Sophie O'Sullivan. Remember, Sophie is still 16, turned 17 later this year, and that ambling style of hers may become very famous in Irish sport. Gosh, over the next 15 years or so, she's a winner, isn't she?
She was a winner today anyway, in front of her home crowd, her mum's home crowd, and there here are mum and dad looking on proudly. The reaction from that Győr, not as exciting tonight.
Fantastic win for Sophie O'Sullivan.
Congratulations, Sophie. That was a battle at the end. Talk us through it.
It's always like you can be sprinting, but there's always a little bit extra you can put in to be really sprinting properly. And at the end there, I just really pushed hard for that and managed to do it.
It must be nice to be here in Cork with your mum watching and knowing everything that she stands for and her relationship with Cork.
Yeah, it's really good out here, and love the track. I was training here the other week, and it's just a really nice place to be out here.
I know you're exhausted, Sophie, but what a whirlwind it's been for you and for Irish athletics in the last couple of weeks. What's it been like to be part of that?
It's been really exciting, and I thank Athletics Ireland for the opportunity to be out here and represent them up in Hungary, and then just supporting me there and for everything, really. Yeah.
And finally, Sophie, where will we see you next?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going back to Australia Wednesday, so unconfirmed when I'll be back.
Brilliant, thanks a million and congratulations. That was great.
What a terrific athlete she is. So this is the schedule that we have for tonight. We've got the women's 100 metres coming up, men's 100 as well. 400 hurdles, which I thought it would be nice to see Thomas Barr in, but never mind. Great win for him, by the way, in Lucerne last week. The 800 metres men's and women's, 3,000 men's and women's, 200 metres in both, and then we wrap up with the big highlight for many, the men's mile, and that is coming up to around 9 p.m. Irish time.
Yeah, packed event this evening, so hopefully everyone will tune in right to the end. Like it says, finishing off with that really exciting men's mile, but I think the sprints are really going to be giving us something to tune in for this evening. We've got a really strong 100 and 200 metres for both men's and women's. And there's Phil Healy in our picture, recent Irish record holder in the 100 metres and almost in the 2 and the 4. There really is no limits to Phil's sprint ability. Can she break another 200 metre record tonight in a really strong lineup of 100 metre women?
Yeah, Phil has had a magnificent year, and she has been the European Athlete of the Month back in January as well. Flings Owusu-Agyepong, based in Canada, but representing Ghana. 5 relay medals in her career, 2 silver, 3 bronze, all for Ghana.
That's Leah Buchanan of Canada. She competed in the 100 metres in London with an 11:17 PB. So Phil, being one of the slower athletes in this field, hopefully be pulled to a fast time. That's Priscilla Manuel of Canada, 2-time Olympian, 2-time semi-finalist at the Olympics. She was second here at Cork City Sports in 2017, so she's on for that victory this evening. Kaylin Whitney of the USA, a personal best of 11:10, so another really strong athlete. Set a world youth best all the way back in 2014 in that 100 metres.
So here's the field. Humphries of Great Britain, Manuel of Canada, who's won here before, Whitney of the United States, Buchanan, Canada, Owusu-Agyepong, Ghana, Phil Healy of Ireland, Atkins of the United States, and Hilton of Great Britain. But Phil Healy, well, what a season. 100 metres national record at the Leinster Championships last month, 11:28. 4th all-time Irish in the 200 metres. And she was a terrific performer in the World Indoors in Birmingham. Not a lot to shout about from an Irish point of view. European Indoors last year in Belgrade likewise got through a couple of rounds. Ireland's got some really talented sprinters at the moment. So Humphries, Emmanuel, Whitney, Buchanan, Owusu-Agyepong, Healy, Atkins and Hilton. The women's 100 metres. So away they go first time. Healy could have gone off with a better start. Owusu-Agyepong's going brilliantly at the moment. Healy trying to fight back though. And it's Crystal Manuel trying to get the win, and Healy's up there. And it's Manuel ahead of Healy. 11.25 seconds. Well, if Healy was immensely close, that's so near to her Irish record. But Crystal Manuel has done it again here. She won the 200 metres of the Cork City Sports last year. 11.25, she wins the 100 tonight. And Phil Healy takes second position for Ireland. Could have had maybe a better start, but the rest of it was brilliant.
You know what, the start didn't seem to matter, and I said that she was going to have a tough race with these girls, and she has taken a lot of scalps in that race. I think if she hasn't equalled her Irish record, she's going to be very, very close to it. I'm not going to say whether she's broken or not, but I think she's going to be very, very close.
By the way, Elena Mizera, 11.23 is the all-comers record from the Mardike 1993. If that gets rounded down by 200, she will have matched it. That was scintillating, and what a win for Crystal Manuel of Canada, and we'll see her in the 200 as well. And we'll see Phil as well. 11.25 the winning time, but Phil was very close to that.
Big season's best for our winner, Crystal Manuel, taking it down from 11.43. So sprinters are liking this Cork IT track tonight.
The official result is not yet ratified. Still waiting for it to come up. But 11.25 is very, very fast.
Phil Healy really got the Cork crowd going. Local woman running such a fast time in front of her home crowd.
Joanna Atkins of the United States was in 3rd place. Gold in the 4x4 in the World Championships 2013, and the World Indoors 14 and 18, and the World Relays too. 11.25 ratified for Crystal Manuel. Phil Healy second, 11.30, and Joanna Atkins third, 11.37.
So just outside that national record of Phil Healy's that she set back in 11.28 that she set only a couple of weeks ago. But another really good run by her. Really good to see her consistent ahead of those European Championships in Berlin.
And look at that full crowd here as well. Hang on a sec, wasn't he in Finland last week? Absolutely brilliant full house here. And what a tremendous result. Phil Healy in second position. Here she is.
Absolutely thrilled to back up the performance again. Wind was under the legal limit. There's still areas I need to work in the race, but like if it was 1:11.25, it's going to be close to the record, so I'm absolutely thrilled.
What's it like to race in an international field here in Cork?
It's unreal. I love competing in Cork City Sports every single year, and like it's one I look forward to, and you have a home crowd and everyone's just like, you see the crowd here today and all my friends are here, and it's just great to compete in front of the home crowd and get the cheers going.
And how are your preparations going in general now ahead of the Europeans?
Everything's going really well. This is my first race in 4 weeks. I raced 4 weeks ago, and I have 200 as well today. I raced on Thursday in Morton Games in the 4. We're in the London Diamond League for the relay, so I'm looking forward to getting in with the junior girls in the 4x1 and then on to nationals.
It must be great to be part of a time now where athletics is really capturing the imagination of the people.
Absolutely, and like everyone, like even in the last few weeks, the girls are going from strength to strength, and even across all of the men's and women's, there's PBs, there's qualifying times and stuff like that, and it's been great to set the national record a few weeks ago, and then everyone like has stepped up after that as well.
Thanks a million and congratulations.
What a performance from Phil Healy, finishing in second position. That Irish record of hers from earlier this year. 11:28, she came 200ths away from it.
Yeah, I said I was going to stay on the fence whether she broke it or not this evening, and I was right to 2/10 of a second outside, 200ths of a second outside of it.
So now the men's 100 metres, one Irishman going in this, Marcus Lawler, and it's great to see him back. You remember the serious hamstring injury he picked up in the European Team Championships in Vasa in Finland last year. Well, he's back. Sean McLean won this, did the double in the Cork City Sports last year over 100 and 200. Bismarck Boateng of Canada, silver medalist in the 4x1, bronze in the 100 metres, the last year's Francophone Games. John Teeters of the United States, Edmond, Oklahoma, PB in the Olympic trials 2 years ago in Eugene, where we're heading for the World Championships very soon. But Marcus Lawler, the Irish under-23 record holder, is still eligible to break that 10:30, that mark. 10.40 is season's best, the St. Lawrence O'Toole Carlo man. All those schools records way back when, you remember, at the start of this decade. But it was such a gutsy performance because he had that hamstring injury, went down with about 50 metres to go, and I was watching it live on Finnish television at the time. Sadly wasn't picked up in our part of the world. He still crawled over the line to register points. Ireland didn't get promoted in the end, but he still gained Ireland something like 5 or 6 points. Unfortunately, then he missed the under-23s, got into the Universiade at least, but he's on the comeback trail a little bit, it's probably fair to say.
Yeah, I think he is targeting those European Championships now. Time is ticking, it's running out. Time is not a huge amount of time left between now and the National Championships, but Marcus just seems to pull these performances out of the bag when he needs to.
Marcus Lawler then in lane 6, 10.40, his season's best. Season's best for Emil Erasmus is 10.01. Let's see what we can come up with here. Meeting record. Brendan Christian, 2009, 10.12. So it's Georgian 1, McLean 2, Boateng 3, Erasmus 4, Siame 5, Lawler 6, Teacher 7, Bledman in lane 8 for Trinidad and Tobago. So away they go, first time of asking. Lawler trying to fight back in this one, but it's been a good start by Erasmus. Erasmus looks as if he's going to take it. 10.16. That is fantastic. Emil Erasmus of South Africa, who won silver in the Commonwealth Games on Gold Coast earlier this year. He won in Kortrijk 48 hours ago in Belgium, and he wins here. That was pure power, and that was 10.16, and that was unstoppable.
That was unstoppable. Those last 20 metres, it was clear. He was a clear winner. Unfortunately, Marcus got left a little bit behind after the 50 metres, just showing a little bit of race rustiness perhaps, but that's our eventual winner Erasmus in number 14, the Nike strip there, and really pulled away in that last 20 metres, really powerful.
Well, bit of a blanket. I think Boateng was up there and George as well. Boateng second, George third by the looks of it.
Yeah, tough one to call at this, especially from this angle, it's tough to call. And lane 7 I fancy as well, John Teeters, 10.21 season's best, but he looked quite strong from that angle, so really tough to call even where we're standing on the finish line.
Yeah, that was a very, very impressive win by the South African. Still waiting for the final result to come up. We know he won.
Bear in mind now, our B race was won in 10:25, so not a huge difference between the performances there. But 10:16 in these conditions with a legal wind of plus 1.5, really, really good result for the Commonwealth silver medalist.
As I say, the meeting record here is listed as 10.12, but the all-comers record in the Athletics Ireland website is 10.17. And if that stands firm, then that is a new Irish all-comers record, according to the national governing body at the very least.
And up next is our medal presentation for our Shotput Men's competitors.
Yeah, we saw a good bit of this a little earlier on. This was before the live television coverage got underway. But victory going to Chuck Enekwe of the United States, 21:07. A little glitch in the system, actually, which means that it goes back to last year's results on the live scoring. Because Jack O'Gill has come up in second place, and Jack O'Gill is not here.
He's definitely not in Cork this evening, that I know of.
Congratulations, well done.
Well, great result in the end for
Congratulations, well done.
Enekwe of the United States. Head of the big Canadian in second position. It was a good competition. So, Priscilla Manuel wins for Canada, the women's 100 metres, 11.25. Phil Healy so close to another new Irish record, 11.30, with Joanna Atkins of the United States third, 11.37. Humphreys 4, Hilton 5.
Brilliant race, as I said, by Phil Healy earlier. Just another really consistent time ahead of Berlin in August. She competes there in the 100 and 200, so to get those consistently in those low 11 seconds, she'll be on hopefully for another Irish record come the championships.
We should be able to see the men's 100 metres result soon, but on our live scoring, Marcus Lawler actually finished last in the end, 10.49, 900ths outside his season's best. The result of the men's 100 metres, Emil Erasmus of South Africa, 10.14. We make that, according to Athletics Ireland, a new Irish outdoor all-comers record. Winston George, Guyana, second, 10.29. Bismarck Boateng of Canada, third, and that 10.30.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cork City Sports was known for its sprinting prowesses in the past, up until the past couple of years, but with times like that dropping this evening, I think we're going to just see more and more sprinters making the trip down here to CIT in the future, because there really has been some brilliant performances.
And a full house here as well. I'm really sorry. It's like the World Cup. We've got a big screen here, and people know when they're on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Even him.
I don't think he's recognised that he's on the telly. Oh, very cute.
Well, maybe it's just as well they cut away there. So next up on the track in the next few minutes will be the men's 400 metres hurdles. So now that we're with the live television audience, can you explain why your brother is not competing in this and he's going the 200 flat tonight?
Oh, I wish I could explain most of my brother's actions. No, I suppose after that good race in Lucerne last week, he's raced here before in Cork, and he's never really gotten the performance. He's never pulled those performances out that he really wanted. I think he was kind of holding out for Morton, but unfortunately they pulled the men's 400 hurdles. So I think he recognises his speed needs a bit of work, so he's dropped down to the 200 metres and, see what he can do.
So this is the men's 400 metres hurdle, sponsored by O'Leary Insurances. Paul Byrne going for Ireland in this of St. Albans, Yato of France, Kishimoto of Japan, Jacob Paul of Britain, Niall Flannery, Thurl Donovan and Chris McAllister, all of GB also in this. Fastest in the field this season, Takayuki Kishimoto of Japan, 49.30, the Asian Games silver medalist from Incheon 3 years ago. Asian Games coming up in September, which will be held in Singapore. Yato of France. Hey, it's a good week to be a Frenchman. PBs in the 100, 200, 400 and the 400 hurdles all set this year when he was in a winter training break in South Africa. This is Kishimoto. Silver in the Universiade in 2011. Paul Byrne, Regional Development Officer, Athletics Ireland. PB set in Brussels last year.
Paul's been knocking on the door of that 50 barrier for quite some time now. He'd love nothing more than to break that 50 and get to those European Championships. A little bit outside his personal best now this year, 51 with 51.4, and he's in that tight inside lane, which he won't be too happy about, unfortunately. In lane 2, there's no one in lane 1, and all the GB athletes have been have given their own domestic battle in the outside lanes.
There is a very good reason why lane 1 is empty. It was being kept for somebody, Jesse.
Maybe that's why he's not running. He's a diva like that.
By the way, I mean, that win in Lucerne, I was away on holidays in a Tallinn supermarket watching on my phone. That was absolutely awesome victory, because he was turning the bend in something like 6th or 7th he was.
Yeah, well, there's a reason that all of us in our family have credited grey hair early, and I think it's down to him leaving until that last minute. He does it every time. I think he needed that race for his own head ahead of Berlin, because he hasn't really been pulling out the performances that he'd want at this time of the season, and I think he was worried he'd lost that 6th gear he always has off the hurdle, but he well and truly has it back now. So it'll be interested to see in his absence what our training partner Paul Byrne can do today.
Yeah. Full time with Athletics Ireland, as well as quite a few athletes are in regional development. We saw a wave a few moments ago from Tyree Donovan as well, from Britain, from Windsor, Slough, Eton and Hounslow. PB set last week in Bedford in this, and he's his area's Young Sports Personality of the Year, coached by Marina Armstrong. Paul Byrne once spent 19 hours in an airport in Addis Ababa, which he did not find entertaining. Just saw in an interview this morning with our online print colleague James Sullivan. This should be interesting. It is open. Kishimoto is 48-41 in his career.
Yeah, at the moment it's going to be a tough one to call. I mean, all our GB athletes are going to be pushing. They were all in the British Championships. Number of them are finalists. Jacob Paul, Niall Flannery, and Chris McAllister, all finalists. Chris McAllister actually getting the best of the Brits with that 4th place finish at the British Championships. So, to be honest, it's wide open. Tough to call a time. Judging on those sprint times, it should be fast, but this track is not known for its really super quick times for the 4s and 4 hurdles. It's just that little bit breezy. The breeze has come down. It's not as breezy as it was earlier on with the +2 wind, but I really can't call it at the moment. I think it's going to be really exciting, a bit of a blanket finish, hopefully. Something to everyone to get behind.
Slight delay as we move to the 400 meters hurdles. A reminder that it's Paul Byrne in 2, Yato in 3, Kishimoto 4, Jacob Paul 5, Flannery 6, Donovan 7, McAllister in 8. Meeting record, Javier Coulson at Puerto Rico 4 years ago, 48-41.
I remember that race well. I think Thomas got the second on that day, so.
All-comers record, Mary Peters, 1987. It was Ed Moses. So Byrne in 2, Yato 3, Kishimoto 4, Paul in 5, Flannery 6, Donovan 7, and McAllister in lane 8. And up very strongly is the Japanese. Remember, in Asian Games, reigning silver medalist. He is in lane 4 in the classic Japanese kit. Paul is looking to move up as well. Jacob Paul is going brilliantly on Kishimoto's outside. Flannery, who we see a lot of, the man from Newcastle, he's twice been the British champion, 2014 and 15. Kishimoto's beginning to fall back. Something's happened to him, no doubt. He was flying very early on. Not anymore, he's not. Now as they straighten up, McAllister's looking good. Paul is looking even better. It's Jacob Paul for Great Britain. Bronze in the European Under-20 Championships back in 2013. Paul will take a McAllister second, Flannery third, Paul Byrne fourth, 50.18, exactly 2 seconds outside Ed Moses' all-comers record. He came well. Kishimoto, the fastest in the field this year, but he faded away.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Kishimoto there. We had a really good start in those first 3 hurdles. He took beautifully. He's not a tall athlete for the 400 hurdles, so he has to work a lot harder, has to go a lot faster. I don't know what happened down the back straight. Did he clip a hurdle? Once you lose your momentum in the 400 hurdles, it's very, very difficult with fatigue to get them back. But Jacob Paul really got into his stride early and just so confident from the start and really put the boot in at the end. And you can see here he's starting to pull away from the Japanese athlete in the inside lane, in the lane inside him there. I don't know, I think Kishimoto of Japan really just lost the legs. He really just did. There's no reason I can see other than just fatigue and maybe a bit of lack of concentration.
It's really odd. He is in form because he won the Japanese championship for the 4th time a few weeks ago. But Jacob Paul, silver in the UK championships last year. He was 6th in the UK championships this time around 2 weeks ago, but he wins in the Cork City Sports, and it's a solid winning time of 50.18.
Yeah, 50.18, just outside his own season's best of 49.9. That's the frustration of the 400 hurdles. You can hit it right and run a brilliant time. You can hit it badly and just have a race like Kishimoto there.
So victory for Jacob Paul in the men's 400 metres hurdles.
Sponsored by Super Value, Emil, Rashid and Winston. Thank you very much to Super Value for their continued support.
Well, that was a good win by Jacob Paul as he does his clan proud. Robbie in the rugby league. Owen, you're my favourite waste of time. Cracking crowd. And fabulous to see, by the way, the banks are well populated tonight. The grandstand is completely full. And Cork City are playing tonight. They're playing Portsmouth across town at Turner's Cross. How's about that for timing? In between their double date with Legia Warsaw, but obviously it's the under-18 B team probably playing this evening.
What time is that race on? Could a lot of these people dart across, I wonder?
Emil, congratulations, a real powerful run.
Traveled a lot. I raced 2 days ago, so with all the circumstances, I think I ran pretty well today.
Your time is 10.16. It's been reported that it's an all-comers record in Ireland. How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I mean, representing my country in other countries, I mean, that's just an honour, and to run such a good time makes it even better.
What was it like being here in Cork and racing at the Cork City Sports?
It's been amazing. I mean, it's totally different from where I've run previously, but I love it. I'll definitely love to come back.
What are your plans now for the next few weeks?
I'm going home now. This is my last race. So back to South Africa and then preparations for Africa Champs.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
With the headband on her. Yeah.
Absolutely terrific crowd.
7:27 for Cullenberg on that one.
We'll be going back to the track very shortly with the women's 800 metres. Sponsored by Henry Ford and Son Limited. They've been looking after Cork for a very long time.
There's our new CEO, Hamish Adams, there in the suit.
Yeah, came from Rowing Ireland. And they also had a magnificent weekend. And Lucerne is in my head anyway, because they had a rowing World Cup there, won a few medals. Sunita Paspore with the bronze, the O'Donovan brothers again,
gold, yeah.
winning a gold there. And let's go back to Marie.
Oh, wow, lots of different memories. But I suppose the one that really stands out is my very first Cork City Sports. You know, I'd watched lots of races as a young girl. It used to be on television back then as well in the 80s. And then, you know, when I got invited to come up here and run the open 3,000 metres, I was only 17 years old. And ran a big PB 9:01 and somehow managed to win the race. It was huge in Cork, you know, it was on picture in the back page of the Echo, and you know, it was big news. So that's my biggest memory of the Cork City Sports.
Before the Sophie's race earlier, the MC Phelim Kelly was saying there's a new SOS in town. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's great, you know. I mean, she's her own person, you know. She does her own thing, so she's definitely Sophie O'Sullivan, and she's cutting her own track, you know. She's definitely not following in my footsteps. She really wants to go out there and do her own thing and be the best that she can be.
It must be exciting, though, like not just for Sophie, but just watching all the young Irish athletes coming through.
It is, it's fantastic, you know, and it was a brilliant race tonight. Watching Sophie run in the 1,500 metres and Stephanie Cotter, you know, really competitive race, and that's what you need to see. You need to see the girls, you know, kind of stepping up and challenging each other, and they were both up for the race tonight. You know, we didn't know a lot about Stephanie, and she probably didn't know a whole lot about Sophie apart from watching her in the European Youths there a couple of weeks ago. So it was a big race, and neither of them probably really knew it. You know, it was a bit low key, you know, and it was just great to see them being really competitive and battling it out, and both of them running the best they've ever run.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Sonia.
Yeah, and Sophie, a real chip off the old block. Sonia was decent as a youngster in the 800 metres. And this is what we have next. Nadia Parr is the Irish representative in this. And on page 2, Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner as well, who's had a great time in the collegiate circuit for Villanova. But great talent here, the 6 times Trinidad and Tobago 800 metres champion Elena Brooks. She's won this year's title. The pacemaker is Miriam Daly in lane 8 alongside Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner. Silver in the NCAAs this year in the indoors. 800 metres record for Ireland, and Villanova's best result in 30 years it was too. But watch out also for Mary Henry of Scotland, English under-23 champion. Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner had a Villanova top on earlier. That was black. This is white for Cleirigh-Buttner. Will it be all white on the night? Great to see her back in home soil. She's had a brilliant career in the States. So it's Eve Bailey, Henry, Picarillo, Brooks, Chambers, Borowski, Power, Richards, Mecca, Smith, Rosler, Cleirigh-Buttner and Daly. Rosler from the United States, gold in the 4x8 IAAF relays last year. She's got the V for Villanova in there as well, as Miriam Daly, who's the pacemaker, cuts inside, and also in the pink, Dana Mecca, 5th in the Cork City Sports last year for the United States.
Yeah, Miriam Daly just went through that first 228, so quick enough pace. That'll probably bring them through to the sub 60 anyway, maybe looking for around 58 for that first lap, but she should be dropping out now in a minute. And Laura Rosler, wearing the number 1, is the fastest in the field here, the only sub 2 athlete at 1:59 run at her best. And Siofra, with her white hairband, is leading the field at the moment.
Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner leads Rosler on her outside. Just behind, wearing 2, Emily Richards. 4 is Dana Mecca in the blue and the pink respectively as the pacemaker steps away. So now Cleirigh-Buttner has got a little bit of a fight on her hands here, possibly alongside Laura Rosler. She's been overtaken. Cleirigh-Buttner down into 4th position now as Mecca hits the front. Mecca in the pink, Rosler on her inside, Richards on the outside. Cleirigh-Buttner finding herself in 4th position, locked behind these 3. Remember, she competed at the World Championships, Cleirigh-Buttner in London last year. Rosler fastest in the field. PB, only PB in this field of sub 2 minutes. She's leading at the moment, but a fight coming from Mecca on her outside. Richards even further on the outside. Cleirigh-Buttner is now in the middle of the field. It's Rosler at the moment leading the way for the United States. Mecca fighting hard in 2nd position, but Laura Rosler, 4 times NCAA champion, is going to win. Rosler takes it. 2nd is Emily Richards, and in 3rd, having not featured at the front, Elena Brooks of Trinidad and Tobago took 3rd spot in that women's 800 metres, but Laura Rosler 2:02.46, a very good winning time.
Yeah, just outside Laura Rose's season's best of 2:02.26, so 2:09, excuse me. Siofra just didn't really have the legs in that last 100 metres. She got herself boxed in quite badly on that first lap just before the bell and really couldn't fight her way back out. So she had to work a lot harder than those girls. Had to do kind of did it the hard way, and unfortunately it didn't pay off this time. A lot of fast girls in that race. It was always going to be tight. A lot of girls with seasons best of around 2:02. So the race kind of played out the way we'd hoped. Tough season come off the back of a long collegiate season for Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner. You can see there she's still well in contention at this stage, but does get boxed in. Everyone does kind of come past her. She left the space on the outside lane, but it was all about Laura Roser. That last 50 metres she looked the strongest, and that sub 2 minute pace really stood to her there.
No mystery about the woman from Fargo. 2:02.46, a quality winning time, among her fastest of the season by a long way. And Dana Mecca gave it a really good go. Just a little bit of fading in the end that came from Emily Richards. Siofra Cleirigh-Buttner was a little bit down the field. Here she is.
Siofra, a lot of fast girls in that race. What were your thoughts on your performance?
You know, I haven't raced in over a month. Last race was nationals back in the US, so today was just kind of getting back into it and seeing where I was fitness-wise right now after going away and just getting a good block of training in and just to wake myself up again. So just happy enough, just wanted to get out fast, just being on lane 8 and then just try and cover moves and close hard. So I think I did a decent job. Would have liked to do better, but it was all right for today.
You're home for now. Have you made any decisions about what your plans are for the future?
No, I'm still figuring that out, so hopefully good things are on the horizon, so we'll just see what the future holds.
And then just for you next, what is next for you?
So I have Morton Games on Thursday, hopefully get another faster one maybe, and then just kind of aiming for Europeans later in the summer and hoping to go as far as I can with that, so with the Irish vest on.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Generally very impressive with the Irish vest on. So here's the result of the men's 400 metres hurdles. Jacob Paul winning 50.16. Chris McAllister second, 50.67. Niall Flannery third, 50.82. Paul Byrne doing very well in fourth spot, and Kishimoto just fell back in the end. It's a very good win for Jacob Paul. Most famous Paul since Robbie and Owen. Men's 800 metres is up next. Some very interesting names in this. Boris Berrien, the 2016 world champion over this distance in Portland, the man who took bronze. Eric Sawinski goes in this as well. We see him in Ireland quite a bit. The 7 times British champion, Michael Rimmer, and a name that's been around in international athletics for 35 years, Jan Kubicka, following in the footsteps of his father, Jan Kubicka.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this race, how this race unfolds. A lot of the top names, Boris Berrien, like you mentioned, Eric Sawinski, not in the shapes that they would usually be in those, really quick 1:43 times, but Michael Rimmer as well, a European silver medalist back in his day in 2010 in Barcelona, not running anywhere near his best. So I think this is going to be a really open race. I think it's going to be a really good race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Michael Rimmer does in this. That's our pace man, Jeffrey Fisher of the United States. He's actually got a really good PB, and sometimes it feels a little bit odd when you see good athletes who could win this being given the pace job.
Long way to come for a pacer job as well, all the way from the US. I wonder will we see him at Morton Games on Thursday.
Well, for a lot of the American athletes as well, don't forget that it's pretty much a non-championship season. The men's 800 metres. So where we go, Barr, Kubicka, Abda, Rimmer, Sawinski, Berrien, Giesting, Lassiter, Sanchez, Avila, Amankwa and Fisher. Amankwa, who went out in the heats of the last 4 major championships, the Commonwealths, the Worlds and the Olympic Games, and he couldn't compete in 2015 due to visa issues. So a paceman is working the oracle at the moment, Sanchez of Puerto Rico, the junior Pan Am champion from last year in Trujillo in Peru. Looking very good at the moment behind our paceman, and he's opening up a little bit of a gap. The man from Ghana, Alex Amankwa, is working very hard as well in the middle of the field. The pace being worked by Fisher. Sawinski is up there. Haven't seen a lot from Boris Berrien so far, but no doubt we will.
I'm looking down the field, and I actually don't think Boris Berrien is in this field. I actually don't see him there in the familiar New Balance kit that he wears.
I think you're right. Yeah, he's supposed to be wearing one and he's not there, but it's Sanchez who's taking it up. We've still got Eric Sawinski, who's fighting up in second position. So for Puerto Rico, it's Sanchez, who is our leader with 200 to go. Second position is Sawinski. Third is Harun Abda, coming from the United States. He won the San Diego Aztec International back in March. They've got a good gap at the moment. What can the rest do here? Sanchez leading Sawinski. Third is Abda. Good gap. Giesting is moving up into fourth position. But this is Ryan Sanchez of Puerto Rico, who's had 5 wins in the Caribbean this year, and now he's going to get a win outside. Sanchez, Sawinski, Abda, the 1-2-3, 1:45.71 is a very fast winning time.
That's a PB for Sanchez, I believe, if my notes are correct.
Absolutely fantastic. He came
just outside his PB. New season's best.
0.13 outside his lifetime best in the end, and Sanchez took big advantage. He gets a win in the Cork City Sports after doing so well. 5 victories right across the Caribbean this season, and he is flying. The Pan Ams are on next year in Lima, so it's essentially a non-championship year for him as well. But you do have the Caribbean Games and the Central American Games and the, I suppose they call them the NASACs, the North American, Central American, Caribbean Championships. Look at Sanchez going. Sawinski just knew it was not going to be his night. And well done, by the way, Abda in third for the United States. That was solid as well.
Sanchez just looks so comfortable. That last 200 metres, there was no sign of pain. The 800 metres is not a race that's known for being an easy race, and he looked comfortable. He was cruising. He was in control the whole way. So great race. I'm telling you, there's going to be whispers about this Cork City Sports go beyond just Europe, I think, next year.
Well, we're doing well. It's a calm night here, which helps. Sometimes it can be a little bit breezy.
Just a little.
Not very often. But when they're at the athletes' backs, that is a big help, and that was a thumping win by Ryan Sanchez.
Shame there was no Irish representation in this 800 with so many strong 800-metre athletes, but just a race for the audience to see a fast time. But yeah, shame not to see any Irish people kind of as benchmarks in that race to see where they're at ahead of these national championships in 2 weeks.
And in terms of the 400 metres, Brian Gregan seeing his season effectively ended yesterday with an injury that he just could not shake.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Brian in the last couple of weeks, and he's had a lot of ice packs on that ankle. Is very unlucky for him.
So the women's 3,000 metres coming up next. Brilliant talented is Genevieve Lacaze, the 3 times Australian champion, coached by Nick Beddoes, in the crowd sitting alongside Sonia. Our pacemaker in this is scheduled to be Michelle Finn. Bria Larder of Australia, Jessica O'Connell from Australia, silver medalist in the World University Games 5,000 metres last year in Taiwan. But Genevieve Lacaze finished 6th in the AIT Grand Prix last year. She was 5th at the Morton Stadium 3 years back, and a steeplechaser in her own right. Sakafian of Canada, who in the past few weeks, actually in the past few days, has won a 4th Canadian title. It's a big field, 17 in this. They love to pack the fields in the large races here.
Yeah, they really do, and there's an awful lot of girls who are taking a jump down from the 10K, the 5K, and a few people moving up from that 1,500 metres. So really interesting kind of mixed field here. Tough to call who's going to get the better, the distance runners, the endurance girls, or those speedsters. Genevieve Lacaze, wearing the number 1, is better known as a steeplechase athlete, 3K steeple, with that long blonde ponytail that you can see at the start there.
And wearing 5, the world junior champion from 2014. Mary Kane of the United States, which from memory I think was again staged in Eugene, and she's been the North American, Central American, Caribbean under-23 silver medalist in 2016. I'm just going to call it the NACTEX from now on, if it's okay with you. But it's a comeback race. It's her first race in 20 months after being injured for the entirety of 2017 and 18 up to this point. It's great to see her here. Claire Duck as well from Leeds City AC, third in the Loughborough Grand Prix a few weeks ago. 5 wins so far this season for Claire Duck. Camille Buscombe wearing 10 then, silver in the World University Games 3 years ago, 16th in last year's Cork City Sports.
Camille Buscombe, another one from the Nick Bideau stable. So Nick Bideau would have a busy job if he has 5 hands for all these athletes that he coaches to try and time them all with his stopwatches. But yeah, big field, going to be lots of elbows out in that first 100 metres.
So ready to go. Here comes the cavalry charge. Lacaz, Purrier, Nielsen, Duncan, Kane, Pagano, Sisson, Marta Penfreitas of Portugal, Buscombe, Tatsui, Sakafian, Duck, Finn, Ilada and O'Connell. Marta Penfreitas, now she is the 5-time Portuguese champion. She finished 5th in the Europeans 2 years ago in Amsterdam.
I'm looking for Marta, and it doesn't look like she's in it. She's quite a short, diminutive figure, and you'd spot her, and I actually don't see her in this crowd. So another non-starter from the start list that we've been given, as far as I know.
Yeah, Emily Sisson is moving up well. She's wearing 8 from the United States, the Pan Am Junior champion in 2007 and the 2015 NCAA champion. And Tatsui of Japan, who finished 15th in last year's Cork City Sports. She was 7th in this year's Yamaguchi Half Marathon. She definitely mixes up the distances. That's what, about 7 times the distance of this. Well, Michelle Finn doing the pace work, and how well she's represented Ireland in major championships in recent years.
Yeah, Michelle is actually not long back herself from an injury, so I'd say she's treating this as a good training run for her. Just a lot of problems, I believe it was with her ankle, so just great to see her actually running on a track and not on a treadmill or in the pool that she spent an awful lot of time the last few months. And I'm sure she'd much prefer to be wearing a number and actually competing against these girls, but it'd be great to see her back to her best.
So in the yellow, it is the Japanese Sakio Tatsui, and alongside her going very well, Emily Sisson of the United States. She's wearing 8. Lynn Nielsen as well of Sweden, the 15-time Swedish champion, tucked in nicely, currently in around 5th or 6th position, just behind Genevieve Lacaz and ahead of Sarah Pagano. It's a good quality field, a big field in this women's 3,000 metres. Finn keeping the workout. This is sponsored by Sport Ireland. No surprise that the meeting record's held by Sonia O'Sullivan, who's in the crowd, Irish record holder also. I was European record holder for 8 years until that was taken up by Gabriella Jabo in Monaco, the Golden League back in 02. But I mean, Michelle Finn's leading them out quite nicely. It's a solid pace roll, and they're happily a couple of strides behind. Tatsui doesn't race outside of Japan a huge amount. Sisson does a run outside of the States quite a bit. She was the double champion outdoor and indoor NCAA over 5,000 metres 2015 for Providence College.
Bit of a push and a shove there by the looks of it.
Won in Boston University back in February. Finn having another look at the watch to make sure she's well on track. Sisson is really stretching out. Mary Kane, her first race back in 20 months, and she's back in the field at the moment. But I think the important thing for her at the moment is to be out in the track and racing. But she's not going to win tonight, but it's good to see her out there at the very least. Not a lot of jostling for position. Jessica O'Connell of Canada coming on the outside. Finished in 2nd position in the Canadian Championships a week or so ago. Bronze in the Junior Pan Ams in 07. And
Eleanor Poirier there from the USA. She's doing some interesting moves. She's getting caught up an awful lot. You can see her in that inside lane, the New Balance kit with the red shorts. She's in 4th position at the moment, but she's getting caught an awful lot. She nearly lost her balance a couple of times. She's really bunched in and trying to elbow her way out. So keep an eye out with this bunch crowd. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another push or shove or maybe even a tumble.
Well, it's funny, it's almost like an indoor 800 metres race.
Yeah.
You'd expect it to be a little bit more spread out, width and breadth and length, but it hasn't turned out to be the way. Michelle Flynn steps away after doing her pacing work. We've got 4 laps to go. It's Emily Sisson who takes up the lead for the United States. 9:01:02, her lifetime best set this year. Eleanor Poirier moving up also on the inside. The 23-year-old American UNH Wildcats, University of New Hampshire. She lives on a dairy farm in Vermont. The NCAA mile leader, she's the America East champion, and she was one of a huge American contingent in Lignano last week. There's another one from Emily Sisson, and Poirier won in Lignano, which I suppose you might know for being a venue for the European cross-country championships, where Fionnuala Britton, as she then was, won her first major championship medal, a silver in the under-23s there. But they're still quite justing, and I keep wondering about that arm movement by Sisson. It is quite peculiar.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the race, with only 3 laps to go, I really thought they would have strung out a bit more. But if you look at their season's best and PBs, they're very, very closely packed, and it really is going to come down to who is the best sprint finish. Emily Sisson's better as a 10k road runner. Will she have the legs in those last two laps against these girls who are probably better at 3k and 1500 metres?
Yeah, Sisson leads with 3 laps to go. Jessica O'Connell on that headshot looked like she was in absolute agony. And it doesn't look as a very smooth movement from her either at the moment. But in 3rd position, it's Eleanor Poirier, and in 4th is Sarah Pagano. Tutsui is falling back a little bit, but trying to make a little bit of ground as she moves up into around 8th position. If you look at Jessica O'Connell on the left-hand side, she just doesn't look comfortable. Sisson does, mind you. In saying that, O'Connell's in 2nd position, so she's comfortable enough. Poirier on the inside in 3rd, and Pagano's still in 4th in the yellow.
I can tell you, if I was this far into a 3k, I don't think my face would look like it was smiling either. But I don't know, did Jessica O'Connell get caught up in a bit of that pushing and shoving? Could she have been spiked? Could she be limping? They are very closely packed still at this stage, and there has been a bit of pushing and shoving. Maybe she rolled a bit. She doesn't look comfortable in that number 17.
Lacaze has moved up into 4th position now, but it's as you were. It's Sisson, and it's O'Connell, and it's Poirier with 2 laps to go. Lacaze is up into 4th place. Melissa Duncan of Australia, she's in 5th now. She finished 4th in Nijmegen last month in the Netherlands World Relays. Bronzes for Australia, 4x8, 4x15 in the Bahamas back in 2014. It's getting interestingly tight, but still Emily Sisson, nobody wanting to challenge her, hoping that she might burn herself out a little bit perhaps. But listen, we've seen athletes who come out and led from start to finish, particularly famously last year in Athlone, remarkably and ridiculously. But Emily Sisson tonight out in front. O'Connell still in 2nd. Poirier is in 3rd. And there was no Irish outside of the pace setter, Michelle Finn. Lacaze in 4th is still a constant danger. Boscombe is in 5th. Duncan has moved back into 6th place. Boscombe of New Zealand 14th in the 10,000 metres at this year's Commonwealth Games at the Gold Coast, the 3 times champion. Lacaze still not looking bad here.
Well, you know, we said that Jessica O'Connell looked uncomfortable, but she hasn't gone anywhere. She's putting the pressure on Emily Sisson in that 2nd position. I think Emily Sisson's going to have done an awful lot of the work here for the girls behind her, and I feel this is going to be a big burn-up for that last 300 metres.
Sisson, O'Connell, Poirier, Duncan, and Genevieve Lacaze. They're the top 5 with 300 metres to go. Sisson still holding her own in front. It's amazing that they haven't, even though they are shifting gears, they haven't shifted positions. Sisson still leads. O'Connell in 2nd. Now here comes the move on the outside, and it's Boscombe who's gone for it. And Boscombe, agony in the face, hits the front. Now Poirier decides that she has to go. It's Boscombe, and it's Poirier, and it's O'Connell, the 1, 2, 3. Lacaze being left behind, and Sisson as well at 8:52.28 is a lifetime best. She might well beat this. Let's see. It's Boscombe moves out in front. There could be quite a lot of lifetime bests here, I think. We're going to go inside 9 minutes. It's Boscombe holding off Poirier. Boscombe on the inside. Poirier on the outside. O'Connell in 3rd place, and that's how they'll finish. Boscombe wins it. 8:45.99. They've all smashed their lifetime best. 20 seconds for Boscombe. Poirier in 2nd. and O'Connell in third, and she's broken a lifetime best as well. That was incredible racing. That was incredible. That's only 7 seconds outside of Sonia, by the way, here. Look at this.
I mean, I knew the pace was fast, and Camille Buscombe in that last 200 metres, as a 10k runner, to have that kind of a kick is incredible. I really didn't see it coming from that late charge coming from her. You can see the pain in her face. That is hurting, and Poirier in the number 2 vest as well, pushing her all the way and pushing them hard all the way, and she's after coming out with a 22nd personal best, Camille Buscombe from New Zealand. That is a huge improvement.
Well, not just her, that's a lifetime best for Eleanor Poirier, by about 10 seconds, a lifetime best for Jessica O'Connell by about 4 or 5. That is absolutely remarkable. What a race. Camille Buscombe, lifetime best, 8:45.99.
That was an incredible race. Poor Emily Sisson did all the work there. I hope she came out with a good time, because she just got past in that last 200 metres when that extra charge came on. But what a brilliant race to get to see, and I don't think I expected the time to be as fast. I only really realised in that last lap.
Magnificent. That was a remarkable race. Well, the result of that will take a while to come through the women's 3,000 metres. As you see John Martin of Scotland there in the long jump final round, putting a solid attempt into that. So the women's 800 metres, Laura Rosalie of the United States winning that, 2:02.45. Emily Richards, United States in second, 2:03.20. Alina Brooks of Trinidad and Tobago in third, with Mecca fourth, Smith fifth, and Cleirigh-Buttner in sixth place. Marion Daly didn't finish.
Cleirigh-Buttner is in an interesting position at the moment. She's just finished her collegiate career. Will she stay in America? Will she come home to Ireland, our national indoor record holder? It'll be interesting to see what move she makes next.
Camille, first of all, congratulations, first place and a lifetime best.
Yeah, yes, a good PB, personal best, yeah.
Tell me about that race. It was a real tactical battle.
Yeah, so I just tried to be patient at the start and just work my way through, and I didn't know what to expect, but I kind of felt myself kicking a 300, so I was like, oh, I've done it now. So I just went hard from 200, yeah.
You seem to pick the right time to make your move anyway.
Thanks, yeah.
What's the future hold for you now, just the next little while?
I have a 5K on Saturday in Houston, and another 3K the weekend after.
Well, you'll be going full of confidence after tonight's run.
Thank you.
You know, I think that was probably a question as opposed to thank you, let's end the interview. But anyway, hey, she's happy. She's entitled to be.
You know what? She's run a 22nd personal best. I don't think her brain is fully engaged at the moment.
That's true, actually. And you would probably know, how scrambled is your brain whilst in international competition that you're focused solely on the race and everything else takes a back seat?
Yeah, well, I've never run a PB as big as 20 seconds, but I can say that when you run a PB like that, or you're so fatigued coming over the line, and you do have to do interviews straight away, it's cotton mouth, it's what have I just done, I'm so fatigued, the questions are hard to answer.
So back again at the 2018 Cork City Sports, and it goes so quickly. 200 metres races to come. the men's mile and the men's 3,000 metres we'll be seeing very, very shortly. So here's how the men's 800 metres finished. Ryan Sanchez of Puerto Rico taking it 1:45.73. Terrific win with Sawinski second, Abda third, Chris Geisting in fourth. Boris Berrien did not start, unfortunately. So the men's 3,000 metres, massive field in this, 19 overall. Patrick Tiernan of Australia, 6th in the Cork City Sports last year. 5th was Brett Robinson. Reid Buchanan of the United States. And from an Irish point of view, William Monsell, Hugh Armstrong, Gary Campbell, Dara Birmingham as well, and Geordie Williams of Villanova, a regular visitor to Ireland.
I'm sure these men will be full of confidence in a fast time after seeing what the ladies just did in their own 3K.
So we're underway in the John Buckley Sports men's 3,000 metres. Tiernan of Australia, Robinson Australia, Buchanan USA, Hiko Tanosu Ethiopia, Jordan Mann USA, Fumamoto Japan, Tyra Japan, Lecker of Morocco, Samuel Fitway of Germany, Rory Chesser of Ennis Ireland, Dara Birmingham of Ireland, Geordie Williams Australia, Gary Campbell of DCU in Ireland, Yannick Duppig of Germany, Jonathan Hopkins of Great Britain, William Monsell of Clonmel AC in Ireland, and Hugh Armstrong of Ballina AC and Ireland. And I don't actually think that there's a pacemaker in this. Jonathan Hopkins hitting the front for Great Britain. 17 is the number that Michelle Finn had in the women's equivalent, and number 17's going out the front now. I suspect it's probably Jonathan Hopkins who's our pacemaker in this. At least he is literally setting the pace at the moment.
Let's hope he is the pacemaker, or they're all going to get an awful shock if he stays at the front.
Yeah, Jonathan Hopkins of Swansea Harriers now on the outside. Samuel Fitway of Germany finished second in the Flanders Cup in Belgium a year ago. There's quite a lot of regular Cork City Sports visitors here, but Reid Buchanan is definitely the man to watch in this, wearing 4, as he's won this race the last 2 years, and he won in Los Angeles back in May. He was 4th in that great meeting up in Letterkenny 2 years ago. Wearing the stripes, that's Jordan Mann in the United States. He didn't finish in Kortrijk a few days ago, 48 hours ago. He was 8th in last year's Cork City Sports, behind Robinson in 5th and Tiernan in 6th. Dara Birmingham was in 18th in this race last year. And Gary Campbell has had a great year indoors. Irish University's champion and silver in the Irish Indoor Championships at the New National Indoor Arena. Very fast track that is as well. The times we saw in that women's 3,000 metres were absolutely spectacular. Interesting to see if the men can follow suit. Tanosa on the outside, by the way, of Ethiopia, and if you think that looks like a DSD singlet, it is. He's been a regular winner. He won the Duhallow 10-mile road race. He won the Star of the Sea race in Stirling last year, among quite a few others. Definitely one to watch.
Yeah, just like in the women's 3,000 metres that we saw, we have quite a few Australians in this, quite a few from that Melbourne Track Club, run by Nick Bedeau. You see Brett Robinson there in the number 3 vest, who's just sitting in 4th place. If that pacer is a pacer, if he isn't a pacer, he's in 4th place. Real international kind of flavour to this race again, just like in the last one. Will we see the kind of times we saw in the last race? Yet to say. Still very early doors, still 4 laps to go for these men.
Jonathan Hopkins of Swansea Harriers still leading them around. Brett Robinson looking for a higher finish than 5th than last year. Williams in the other nightly singlet alongside. And how well is Hugh Armstrong in that Ballina singlet, doing very well on the inside. And it's being said that he's put Mayo distance running back in the map. He won at the Lecaila International in Kildare a few weeks ago. That's another good, solid meeting. We're having them all over the country, and you've had a few good nights in Belfast, I know. Mary Peters was on a few weeks ago. Bit of a struggle at the back, by the way, by Yannick Duppig. He's down and around 15th, 16th at the moment, and seemed to stumble as he looked to make a bit of movement. There he is now, cutting back on the inside, Duppig. He's 4th from the last. We've got 4 laps to go here as Hopkins still continues to lead the run. And he's an 8:09 man, you know. It's a a lifetime best set this year. But it's Kei Fumamoto who's just behind him, of Japan, 3rd in the Japanese Championships a few weeks ago in Yamaguchi, and 7th in the Osaka Golden Grand Prix back in May. Tanosa still well placed on the inside, and Chaki Blakar of Morocco, 8-11 he's run this year. He's had 3 recent wins in Spain, including in Elche. They were within a couple of weeks of each other. Pace is going quite well. It's a decent job by Jonathan Hopkins out at the front here as he leads them around, with Fumamoto in second. Now Brett Robinson tucked in on the inside, Tiernan on the outside, Williams trotting along well too also.
Just like in the women's race, they're really tightly bunched for this time of the race. 3 laps to go. We're probably going to see another burn up in those last two laps.
Reid Buchanan's in 5th last place at the moment, the man who's going for 3 in a row, but as they're tightly bunched together, he's doing well not to be blocked in. We've got 700 metres to go here, and he's only around, what, 6-7 metres behind the lead, but he's down in 10th place right now. Jonathan Hopkins has taken it up all on his own, Tiernan alongside, Williams in 3rd, and now Buchanan is making his move. What a move it is in the penultimate lap. Here you go. And I was just looking around to make sure that he had started the race. He hadn't featured at the front whatsoever. He was right at the back throughout, and now he's right at the front. He's got in ahead of Robinson and Tiernan and the rest of them. Reid Buchanan, who won here last year, won here the year before. He's won in LA. He's taking the bell. It's Buchanan who's leading them out. Second place is Tiernan, 2 laps to go, should I say. And in 3rd position is Geordie Williams. So the big names are beginning to make the bit of the motion, and Robinson is in 4th as well. And there's a very familiar singlet dominating the top positions right now.
Yeah, with 800 metres to go, Reid Buchanan just decided, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going to be stuck at the back of this field. And he made a big move that would have taken a lot of energy out of him. Will that affect him in that last 200 metres, which is coming in just over a lap to go? But the Australians are really catching up on him now. It's going to be an Australian at least in the top 3 if the top group is anything to go by. They really have separated from the rest of the pack, this top 5.
Tiernan, Robinson, Williams, Mann and Buchanan. They're the top 5. Jordan Mann of the United States, who didn't finish in Kortrijk, looks like he's going to finish here. Here comes the bell, and it's Robinson who leads. Quite a bit of jostling. Tiernan is in 2nd place. Mann is in 3rd. Williams 4. In 5th, Reid Buchanan, who made a big move up, and Buchanan's being left behind by the top 4 now. Buchanan out of it. So is Brett Robinson, who finished 5th here last year, is leading the way. Geordie Williams is in 3rd place. And it's Jordan Mann who's dividing them up, and Williams beginning to go on the outside. Tiernan is in 4th position. Brett Robinson is burning things up here. He's had good wins in Melbourne and in Auckland. Cork he's about to add to the list here by the looks of it. Or Williams fancies it. Surely Tiernan does as well. And Mann can't be ruled out either. Here comes the final burst. It's going to be a good victory for Brett Robinson. Robinson's going to come through just under 8 minutes. Brett Robinson takes it. In 2nd place is Geordie Williams. Jordan Mann is 3rd. Tiernan is 4th. Reid Buchanan is 5th. 7:59, the winning time. It's solid. But what a spectacular finish in the end, and Brett Robinson takes it.
Just as we expected, that burn up in that last 400 metres. Brett Robinson put the pace in. He really has the pace. He's a 7:45 personal best. He had no time for the 3K this year, so we didn't really know what he was capable of this year. But he had an awful lot of time, or a lot of speed left in those legs. Geordie Williams tried. His training partner in in Australia tried his best to keep up with him, but Brett Robinson really just had that speed at the end. Patrick Tiernan, the fastest in the race coming into this, on paper, was left a little bit behind and actually passed for 4th place by Mann just on the line. But another exciting race in the 3K.
Yeah, Australia 1, 2 and 4. Melbourne Track Club. Australia working very well. Robinson takes it, Williams second and Mann third.
What a race, what a finish. You had great speed left in those legs. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It was a pretty slow pace, but it was kind of a big wind up that last K, and I was a bit worried because Geordie's got good 1500 metre speed, but I think he was a little bit tired from the extra double distance, but I'm very happy.
Coming around that last bend, what was going through your head?
To be honest, I thought he was going to go past me, and then I was listening to the commentator, and then I heard him, the commentator say, "Oh, he's got a few yards." Got the win, but yeah.
And a nice 1, 2, 3 for Australia?
Yeah, was it? I actually didn't know. Yeah, that's really good. So we were all trained together a lot of the year, so obviously going all right.
Nice to be here in Cork.
Yeah, it is. I won this 3K a couple of years ago, so good to come back and get another win. Thank you.
Fantastic finish in the end, and Mann trying hard not to be run out of it. Robinson beats his training partner Williams into second position. I think Mann might just have nicked third place, but we'll have that ratified. Here's the result of the women's 3,000 metres. Camille Boscombe of New Zealand, 8:45.97. Poirier for the United States in second. Jessica O'Connell of Canada in third, despite that agonised look. And Sisson, who worked so hard at the front for so long, in fourth position.
She was rewarded with a PB for her efforts, which is good to see. It's a shame we don't have it in the graphic, but I think the first 6 got PBs in that race. So really, really shows the calibre of the race for some really, you know, an Australian record holder in Genevieve Lacaste only being 5th with a PB, in that you realise that really was a quick time.
So we've got the women's 200 metres on the way now, and this is the A race, and it is absolutely stacked. Larissa Passer-Natsky has been in the Commonwealth Games this year. Gunter Latisheva Chudari, she finished 5th in the Diamond League in Rome just a few weeks ago. Silver in the Universiade, the World University Games in the 200 metres. Phil Healy's back again, 4th in the all-time Irish list. Priscilla Manuel as well. For Canada, so impressive in the 100 metres. Phil Healy is 4th in the Irish all-time list in the 200. National record held by Ciara Sheehy.
So Phil Healy's only second, 7th fastest on the start list. On this start list, most of the personal bests in this start list here are sub 23 seconds. So shows the calibre. If Phil can keep with these girls and do what she did in that 100 metres, we could be seeing definitely a personal best and chipping away at that towards that record.
National Canadian record for Priscilla Manuel last year, 22.50 when she won here at the Cork City Sports. It is her lifetime best. Her season's best is 22.70. Second in the 100 metres last year, behind Barbara Pierre. You can see from the tricolour, it's a relatively still night here at CIT, and the western reaches of Cork City, knocking round Bishopstown and Wilton a stone's throw away. But Latisheva Chudari, she was involved in the Latvian Song and Dance Festival last week. Now, 101% of you won't know what that is. It's basically, there's a huge stage, there's 40,000 choir singers up on stage, and a watching audience of 100,000. And then when they do the dancing, it's normally in a stadium like this. They have the same thing in Estonia, which I've been at for your research, and they'll have about 5,000 people dancing at that all at once. And they use the old athletic stadium in Estonia for that. Cadreorg is the current one, where Dundalk won the other night in the Europa League, and where we've had the European Team Championships, where Ireland's best of running, and the under-23s and the juniors, Europeans as well. But also Caelan Whitney, the United States, on the outside in lane 8. The Pan Am 200 metres champion from Toronto 3 years ago. Also won gold in the 4x1. Joanna Atkins, gold in the 4x4 in the World Championships in 2013 for the United States, and 2 of the last 3 World Indoors, but not the one that was held in the United States. She won in Birmingham and in Sopot in 2014. Priscilla Manuel then the reigning champion, bronze in the Pan Ams, in the 4x1 in Toronto 3 years ago, 7th in the 200 metres of the World Championships at the Olympic Stadium in London.
Another delay, just like in the 100 metres. These girls are not going to be happy going away from here. Sprinters do not like to be held up behind those starting blocks. So you can see this is where nerves build up. This is where tension builds up, and whoever can stay most composed at this stage is going to have the best race. And they're off finally.
I see number 14 there, which is supposed to be worn by Kimberly Baptiste of Britain.
Yeah, I spotted that. I think there might have been is Kaylin Whitney maybe not here? I don't know if maybe has she been replaced. Anyway, so Kimberly Baptiste, who was supposed to be in the B race, has been bumped up into lane 8 in the A race. It was a PB of 23:40.
Pastanaski in 1, Latasheva Chidari 2, Tarmo 3, Healey 4, Emmanuel 5, Atkins, Hilton. And then Baptiste in this women's 200 metres. Well, Phil Healy will be very competitive in this as he tries and turns over the defending champion, Priscilla Manuel. It's Healey in 4, it's Emmanuel in 5, and also going well is Tarmo in 3. Healy's fighting for this, but Priscilla Manuel, the Canadian record holder, 22.50, she's going to take it, and Emmanuel does win it, 22.77. Atkins second, Healey third, and Phil Healy, well, she's come very close to a lifetime best of 23.17 for absolutely certain. But Priscilla Manuel defends her title well for Canada, 22.77.
Yeah, another brilliant race by Priscilla Manuel, and she's happy with that 22.77. Phil Healy was in the mix. I put her at 3rd or 4th place, but it was a blanket finish in the end. She had a brilliant bend right up on Priscilla Manuel, who just had a much better transition onto the 100th than Phil. But a brilliant race by Phil Healy to be keeping it up with these girls who have been at Olympic Games, have been world medalists, and I think she'd be close to her PB as a result. I hope I'm not biting my tongue.
I think you're not far off. She wasn't far off. She was 3rd in the end. Emmanuel, very, very impressive. Joanna Atkins in the United States in 2nd position. Emmanuel, whose Canadian record stands from this stadium a year ago. Healy in 3rd position. Tarmo fighting back in 4th place.
Yeah, Priscilla Manuel, really, really powerful. Those last 10 metres, she was so powerful, more like a 60-metre sprinter. You'll wait with bated breath to see what Phil Healy pulls out. Will she be closer to that 2nd Irish record this year in the 200 metres to match her 100-metre record? We wait and we see.
We'll wait a few more minutes.
I think Phil Healy likes performing in front of this home crowd. She really does.
So they wonder why we're in suspense for this potential Irish record for 200. They want to wait for one more official confirmation.
Okay, this is an important one because Phil Healy might have just broken the Irish record.
Where I'm watching her coach here, Shane McCormack. He's waiting until he's on tender hooks here at the finish line with Phil.
Here's the result of the men's 3,000 metres.
The official time, the first Irish woman ever to officially make 23 seconds and a new Irish record.
So Brett Robinson wins the men's 3,000 metres, 7:59.65. Geordie Williams second for Australia, 8 minutes .12, and third Jordan Mann USA, 8 minutes .77 seconds. We can tell you Phil Healy has broken the Irish record.
She's just become the first woman ever from Ireland to break that 23-second barrier. We don't know the official time yet.
Yes, it's not come up, but you can see.
All that matters is the record.
She is on the big screen here. Let's take a good look at this 200 metres again. Now, Phil Healy finished 3rd, by the way. From the host nation point of view, it's all about Phil Healy. Watch her here in lane 4. Her lifetime best, 23.17. Sarah Riley with the Irish record from Edmonton, the World Championships 2001 of 23.02. It looked fast, 22.77 the winning time, and just hitting 23 seconds. It's not come up on our screen, and it's not come up on your live results system either yet, but it has come up on an internal one inside the track.
We can tell you it's a sub 23, but we don't know the exact. But first woman to break that elusive 23 barrier that is so many people have been so close to. So again, another brilliant result by Phil ahead of those championships in Berlin in the summer, in August.
And we're going to hear from Phil Healy very, very soon. I think she's actually been told her time, but we will get that result up for you immediately. We get it. So Priscilla Manuel wins the women's 200 metres and a new Irish record in this, fantastically, for Phil Healy. Men's 200 metres is coming up next. Marcus Lawler and Thomas Barr going in this for Ireland. So the men's 200 to come. Phil Healy with a new Irish record.
Phil, amazing. First Irish woman to break 23 seconds. How does it feel?
Absolutely amazing. Like, that's the second national record in a few weeks, and 22.99, like dipping under 23, and even the conditions, like there's a massive headwind on the bend, so I was absolutely thrilled to finally get the time of 22.99.
How special it was that the crowd were on their feet all roaring you.
Absolutely amazing. And even turn around and everyone standing is like it's special, and to do it here in Cork, home turf, is absolutely brilliant.
I think everybody will want to know, what is the secret to this good form?
Like, I moved to Waterford this year, so definitely around Shane, my coach, so that's definitely the main reason, and my training partners and just the whole group of us together feeding off each other. So it's just bringing us all on leaps and bounds between the boys and the girls, and it's just absolutely brilliant. So.
And the international field, the strong field must help.
Absolutely. Like, I had Crystal Manuel right beside me, and she ran 22.7 in the recent Canadian Championship, so I knew if I chased her down that a quick time could be there, and I'm just absolutely thrilled.
Congratulations, Phil.
See, the impressive thing about Phil is she doesn't just know her results, she knows her opponent's results as well from their own national championships. That impresses me.
Yeah, as far as I know, Phil is a bit of a student of the sport. She makes sure she knows who she's up against and she knows what they're going to do, so she can, like she said, they dragged her to a new Irish record.
So the men's 200 metres, Somea in 1, McLean in 2, Dwyer 3, Lawler 4, Burrell 5, Barr 6, Siame 7, Manning is in lane 8. Well, they've brought Aldrich Bailey Jr. in place of Cameron Burrell, who is scratched. Just to let you know, that is in lane 5, and Bailey's got off to a really good start, and Marcus Lawler having a good time of it as well. Great to see him back on home soil, but going brilliantly is Sydney Siame as well. Lawler's fighting hard for this. Siame wins and Lawler is in second. 20.19 is a terrific time. That is a meeting record. 20.19 is a meeting record, beating that of Marlon Devonish from 2005. And Marcus Lawler, I think, has got a new lifetime best as well. It was 20.71 going into this, and I think he's absolutely smashed it.
I really think he smashed that well. I'm glad I wasn't on camera there, because my jaw just dropped to the floor. I knew that was a fast time, but when 2019 came up, well, my God.
The Irish record is 20.30 from Paul Hessian. That from, gosh, when? 11 years ago. He's close to it, Lawler. He's very close to it. He's going to move up the all-time list. There's no doubt about that. Going well in the orange-yellow singlet there. And Sydney Siame, who had that very fast time, 9.87 early last year in the 100 metres, but it was wiped out because the timing was wrong at a local meeting. Well, he just shot away Claire in the end in lane 7, and impressively so. This is really impressive. This is very, very impressive.
Are we still in Cork?
At the very least, Marcus Lawler, I think, is going to go second in the all-time list behind Paul Hessian, because Paul Brazil, 20.54, is second in the all-time Irish list. The women's 200 metres result.
I can't cope.
The result of the women's 200 metres, Priscilla Manuel of Canada wins 22.75. Joanna Atkins second for the United States, 22.90, and a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
And with all the excitement of Phil's Irish record there, we didn't even have any build-up to that men's 200. It came and went. And Marcus Lawler is hanging around in the orange strip of his Adidas, watching that big screen, waiting with bated breath, just like the rest of us. Has he got an Irish record, a PB? Surely. Irish record?
Well,
who knows?
maybe. Like 20.30 it is. He's going to be waiting a while because it's not come up on our computer screens here.
Well, Marcus, you may as well go take off your spikes. You'll be waiting a while for this one. Oh my God, I just can't get over the performances this evening. I mean, if people didn't know about Cork City Sports before, they certainly know about it now. That was an incredible race by both Phil and Marcus.
20.40 puts him second on the all-time Irish list.
What an incredible personal best. Shaved 0.3 of a second, 3 off his time.
Marcus, congratulations, a PB for you.
Yeah, no, it's a long time coming, to be honest with you. I've been knocking on the door of the 20.5s, the 20.4s, and I ran a 20.4 illegally last year, and finally I've got a legal 2040, and I'm delighted.
It must feel amazing, and here as well in Cork tonight.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You know, we fly around Europe and we try to get races abroad and good conditions, good competition, but Cork and everyone that organised Cork today brought them to Ireland, and that all helps, and the crowd and everything, and it's amazing, yeah, to do it.
Well, you're over the hurdle now, so onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I'm looking forward now to Berlin, so yeah. Thank you.
Second in the all-time list, Marcus Lawler, 20.40. Hessian is 20.30. He was fifth going into it. He's now second, and Sydney Siami won 20.19. And that a meeting record as well here. And talking to the media. There's Spike O'Sullivan. He's had a few tilts in the ring in the past few years, a famous Cork sporting son. The man in the moustache is a famous Cork sporting son. So
And next up we have the men's mile lining up after all the excitement of that 200. I have to get back to the middle distance racers. So in lane 1 we have Sam Prakel of the USA, Hamish Carson, lane 2 New Zealand, Drew Piazza, lane 3 of the USA. Drew Piazza is from Western Oregon.
Sean Tobin, he too has had a very good collegiate career in the United States, from Clonmel with Ole Miss, Mississippi University. Kieran Kelly is trying to break the 4-minute mark tonight. 4 minutes, .70. The Raheny Shamrock man, that's his lifetime best. Luke McCann, over 1,500 metres, has run 3:44. Sam Prakel of the United States on the inside wearing 1. The Johnson controls Cork City Sports men's mile. Look at the jostling with Drew Piazza in the Peru-style kit wearing 3. It's Prakel, Carson, Piazza, Ribic, Hamdi, Tobin, Stanivsek, Marshall, Ramsden, True, Kelly, McCann, Dixon, Malone, Belmore, Williamson, and Sam McEntee of Australia's a 3:58 man. Piazza, that really is a Peruvian-looking singlet. 3:56.86. He's a Western Oregon man. In terms of the Irish racers in this, well, Kieran Kelly, Luke McCann, Sean Tobin are all really interesting prospects in this. But Sam Prakel is the defending champion, wearing 1, having taken the title here last year, and Sean Tobin finished 3rd in last year's Cork City Sports. It is our pace man, Tom Marshall, who's leading them round at the moment, and Tobin's well placed, well supported. He's in 6th place at the moment. Our real leader is Mick Stanovec. Prekel is in 2nd spot. Piazza's 3rd. Rybik is in 4th. But Tobin, well, he's well positioned, taking away our paceman. He's in 5th place, Jess.
Yeah, the field's been pretty strung out already. Everyone always gets on board with the men's mile. Everyone knows exactly what it means to do a sub 4 minute mile. Interestingly, a tall figure in the orange kit of Adidas there. We've had him in Athlone. I don't know, do you remember? The world record holder for the beer mile. That's just him passing by camera there. Corey Bellamore of Canada. He holds the world record for the beer mile of 4:36, I think, if my memory serves me correct, and is a good for indoor miler. 3:57 he ran only this year in February. So interesting man, bit down the field, further than I thought considering how fast he's run, but it really is all about Marshall up in the first position there, going through in 2 minutes.
He's doing badly because he's already done a beer mile. It's Stanovec who's our leader at the moment, the real leader, with Prekel in 2nd place, and Carson is in 3rd. Piazza is still up there, and Sean Tobin still doing very well in around 7th position. I wonder if you get a bonus, you have to drink a beer that you don't like. But it's our paceman still bringing us around. It's Tom Marshall, 600 metres, a lap and a half to go. He'll be stepping out very quickly. He'll be stepping out now. And so here we go. It's really about to shake up here majorly in this men's mile. Tobin is still well positioned. You can see how well he's moved up. He's tucked in on the inside. It's Mick Stanovec of the United States is in the lead. Prekel in 2nd position. Carson is in 3rd. For New Zealand, semi-finalist in the Rio Olympics 2 years ago in the engine now. So here they come round, heading for the bell. It's Stanovec and Prekel and Carson. That's the 1, 2, 3. Bit of a gap. Then in 4th place is Jamie Williamson. Rybik is in 5th. Tobin is still not out of it in 6th position, and there's a major fall there. Trying to work out who it is who is midway through the field. We'll give it a look and we'll let you know. But at the moment it's between Stanovec and Prekel, who are the top 2, and a bit of a gap between them and Carson in 3rd place. It's Ben Maloney of the United States who is the faller. So 200 metres to go. It's Stanovec who leads. It's Prekel in 2nd place. It's Carson in 3rd. And that gap is increasing. Stanovec of Oregon University, the PB run in the Armory this year in New York. Look at that gap as he comes into the closing straight. And that margin looks to be increasing. What a really impressive victory this is going to be for Sam Prekel. He's done it again. He wins the Cork City Sports Mile for the 2nd time. Prekel wins, and Piazza in 2nd place. And I think Sam McEntee came up into 3rd place right at the end. 3:56.11. Very nicely done. He's done it again. And that's not far off his lifetime best, you know. When the conditions are right here at CIT, this track is sensational.
Yeah, great way to round off what's been an incredible night of athletics here. It was all about the sprints, like I said, but that mile, everyone can get on board for that sub 4 minute mile, and the crowd were really cheering them home in that last 100 metres, and it really did bring them on to get that sub 4. A number of them, I'd say the top 6 at least were in that sub 4 category.
Well, Sam Prekel, he won here a year ago at CIT, and he made the break at the right time. Stanovec just fell behind in the end. Carson tried to reel him in, but to absolutely no avail. Stanovec looked good at one stage, but Sam Prekel, the 2nd year in a row, has won the Cork City Sports Mile. One of the highlights of the night. Yet again, it's the summer of Sam.
Sam, a super race. You really made the break at the right time.
Yeah, went into the race not really knowing how I was going to feel running an 800 2 days ago, but knew I was sharp and knew I was going to have a good kick. And, you know, huge thanks to Mick for going with the pace and really set up the race and, you know, made a similar move to last year. And just know, like, going at 300 always feels pretty natural to me. So felt good going around and felt strong going into the stretch.
And you definitely got your tactics right?
Yeah, you know, it takes a lot of experience and practice, and running here last year helped, so I think going in nice and confident was an advantage.
You came back again this year, so you must like Cork.
Yeah, no, I love it here. Great crowd, great atmosphere, and usually pretty nice weather too, so I'll take it.
You followed 2 very exciting sprints, but the crowds were really behind you.
Yeah, no, I was just sitting on the grass before my race, just taking it all in, watching the other events, and this is just always a great event.
Right, well, congratulations and well done. Thank you.
Well, that was a superb win. Here's the men's 200 metres result. Siami of Zambia winning at 20.18, but in second position, Marcus Lawler, 20.40, the second fastest Irishman of all time. Only Paul Hessian has run faster with a 20.3 11 years ago. Rashid Dwar of Jamaica in third position. Thomas Barr was sixth.
Yeah, I think Paul Hessian might have to say a sad goodbye to that 200-metre record that he holds, because I think Marcus Lawler is breathing down his neck with that time of 20.4 with the European Championships ahead of him in the summer. Marcus is a championship performer. I reckon that Irish record is under serious threat this summer.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the European Championships are on the way in Berlin, which we are very much looking forward to. He did really well there, Sam Prakel, in taking the men's mile. And Kieran Kelly was hoping to break 4 minutes today, but sadly we'll have to wait for another occasion. Crowd have really loved this. Now, for those of you watching live on television, that was the last race of the night. Spike is putting his jacket on. I think he's just about done and dusted for the evening, or maybe just getting a little cold. We still have, if you're with us live online on CorkCitySports.ie, we have got the B races and the 200 metres coming up. But for those of you who've been watching live on TV throughout the evening, for those of you in Africa and Kweze Sports, thanks for joining us yet again. Sam Prakel going up to receive his gold medal here. The fans have really enjoyed what they've seen, and in some cases seeing themselves. It's been a very, very good evening.
So Sinuel a gwyn y nocht, mo bwykes liv, I hywa, slán go fól.
So we've got 2 more races to come then. The 200 metres women's. This is the B race that is coming up now. The men's 200 metres B on the way also. And Lauren Cadden and Niamh Whelan representing Ireland in this. Finette Agipong, who we've seen in the AIT Grand Prix indoors. She's a regular visitor here, and sometimes they're really cruel, and they put her alongside Flingzawusu Agipong of Ghana. And they do that quite a lot.
Yeah, it didn't help me with my research. I said, I thought I definitely have her already. Anyway, off they go in the women's 200-metre B race.
So really looking forward to this B final, and a major contest this may well turn out to be. Cadden, Whistle, Ruth Buchanan, Agipong, Hyacinth, Baptiste and Whelan, who's in lane 8, but it's 5 at the moment. It's Finette Agipong of Great Britain who's leading this, and Ruth looks as if she's going to come through in second position. That's a nice win in the end for Agipong, for Great Britain. Baptiste in second position. Ruth looks to have taken third, and 23.34 was the winning time for Finette Agipong for Great Britain. It's only 400ths outside of her season's best, but Baptiste came very well in lane 7 in the England singlet in second position, with Ruth in third.
Yeah, great race by Agyapong there. She was a bit of a burst onto the British sprinting scene last year by winning that British 200-metre championship and booking her place to the London World Championships last summer. Was a member of the quartet who came fourth at that in the 4x4 in the Commonwealth for England. But yeah, good to see her close to her best this season here in Cork. So she
did very well to win the final women's race of the night. And sometimes she has the form that she's good enough to make the A races, but not on this occasion. Being congratulated by Kimberly Baptiste there. That was a nice win by Finette Agyapong.
What's probably a changing guard at the moment in Irish athletics. The sprinters really grabbing the head on, of course, that under-20 women's 4x1 team winning world silver. Not too far from Germany for that world title in Tampere in Finland. They're keen up their velocity. With the 22.99. So far this year she set an Irish record over 100 metres, 11.28. 22.99. The first Irish woman to go under 23 seconds officially in the 200. So next eyes on the prize will be John Crony's 400-metre record, which is 50.7.
Well, it's been a great night, Jesse. We still have got the men's B race to follow, but what a night it's been for this lady, and hey, what a mentor she's chatting to as well now.
Yeah, what a great season that Phil Healy's really has shaped up to have, and with the European Championships not even a month away, could have come in a better time to have broken that second Irish record this year. Oh, and Sophie O'Sullivan was in a daze and saw herself on that big screen. Yeah, popular lady tonight after that win in the junior women's 1500 metres at the start of the event this evening.
Yeah, we still have that final race to go, but I mean, what action we've seen tonight. And I mean, we've had Melissa Bishop, for example, come to Athlone and set a Canadian record there, 800 metres from memory. By the way, became a mother quite recently, so congratulations. But I mean, from an Irish point of view, it's always wonderful to see Irish records. Here's the women's 200s B race result. Agyapong wins 23.32, Baptiste second 23.58, and Asher Ruth in third 23.71. Niamh Whelan was sixth, Lauren Cadden in seventh.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. We love to see all these top athletes coming over. I mean, I won't forget the day that we watched Mutaz Barshim nearly go for that indoor world record.
Here comes the B race of the men's 200 metres, featuring John Teeters of the United States, Jeremy Dodson of Samoa, George Winston of Guyana, Bismarck Boateng of Canada, and Ketson Bledman of Trinidad and Tobago.
So the heat is on. I'd say we're going to be looking for an ex-target for the Cork Sports.
I remember that night very well, by the way. It was magnificent, an Asian record as well.
Yeah, and to see something like that on Irish soil, really, I mean, to see that for us. But you know what? Now we don't need to look abroad anymore to get those kind of performances. We're getting them in our own athletes, and we didn't think we were able to kind of pull out those kind of results. I mean, this evening, half of the excitement came from those Irish records, or close to Irish records. So as our men line up for the final event on the track, the men's 200, we have a very reduced, thinned out race by the looks of it. I think it's down to just 3 men. Bismarck Boateng in lane 6, and I'm Winston George inside him, and Aldrich Bailey in lane 4. So only these 3 Trojan men have lasted the whole evening to get to this 200-metre final.
200 metres.
Well, it's thinned out quite a bit. Well, let's see if Boateng and George can pull this one out of the fire.
And away we go.
Oh, dearie me!
Oh,
well,
no,
we've lost George. Winston George has gone off there. Well, it wasn't a case of Bismarck being sunk in the final race, but Winston George, and it's Bledman who's leading the way. And Bledman will take it for Trinidad and Tobago, and we've 2 finishers in the final race of the night, but never mind, it's been a really, and 20.88 the winning time. But what an evening it's been. Good entertainment, Jesse.
Yeah. Brilliant night all round. Shame that 200 metres was so thinned out by the end, but it's been a long evening. It is getting cold here now. The excitement really kind of has passed. That was a legal time, 20.8. Still a very quick time to be going sub 21. But what a night of athletics we've had from start to finish. Usually, I've always found at these events, it's been the mile, it's been the stand-up, but for me, tonight really has been those 200 metres. Phil Healy and Marcus Lawler particularly, with those 2 incredibly fast times and a new Irish record on Irish soil, on home soil and local soil for Phil, the Bandon athlete. So, could she have done it in a better setting? I don't know.
Yeah, we're very, very proud to have brought this to you tonight. 2 absolutely scintillating contests. So Boating gets the win, and Dodson was in second place in the B race, and only 2 finishes in that. What a terrific night it has been. Small bit of housekeeping to finish up with. The result of the men's mile: Sam Prakel retains his title, 3:56.09. Drew Piazza in second place for the States, with Sam McEntee of Australia in third, just ahead of Carson of New Zealand.
Sean Tobin there in 11th for Ireland, just outside that elusive 4-minute barrier. He has done it before, wasn't to beat tonight, but the first 10 men in that race all sub 4. So again, another really high standard race tonight.
Well, it's been an absolutely fantastic night for the 2018 Cork City Sports. Hope you absolutely enjoyed it. Conditions perfect tonight, and we had some great performances internationally, but from an Irish point of view, Phil Healy, Marcus Lawler, chapeau from CIT. The entire hard-working crew in the organisation, good night.